It's going to be favouring the FORZE camp as you would expect here. 2.45 on the money line here for the APEKS camp. This is a match winner, I do believe, as opposed to the map winner. So if you want to take a look at the other odds and other offers on from our betting partners at LootBet, you can go click the banner underneath the Twitch channel, get yourself involved with 10 free CSGO spins, and up to 100 euros bonus for your deposit. Pistol with a defuse kit on APEKS. No utility for the CTs, but all the utility out for Almasa.
FORZE looking to see if they can just get off to a relatively good start. We see the HE coming out towards the squeaky door to open it up, but rather than committing straight away, they decide to fall back a little bit. This might be a bit of a slow walk out to the A bomb side, trying to sell a bit of a fake out towards ramp, but this is going to be an upper play for the T's.
Gross already tagged low, Julie spamming through for the APEKS camp. Can only do so much, but so little by comparison to what's been done to the CT camp. They've gained map control going down the vent and into the B site immediately. Bomb plant to the back as Dennis gets that headshot on Almasa to start things off for the CT side. Opening frag going their way. APEKS caught off by Exy though. Look, give it truth next up and gets that second headshot as well. A 4-on-3 favor to the FORZE camp, making it 2 as Gross with low HP peeks in, gets shut down. And Dennis, last man standing as Marcelius falls elsewhere. He's in a 1 versus 4. Kit so far away from him. He'll catch that first kill, but gets no more than that. Pistol the favor of FORZE.
Oh, they're just everywhere, Jay. The fact that that bomb is being dropped into the vents, and even when the bomb plant goes down, they've still got 2 players towards upper. You've got Exy Power that's trying to cut off the rotations to get the CTs into the vents. Does a really great job of denying that, and from there, it just everything falls apart. APEKS, they were able to do a fair bit of spam damage from those Julie's top hut to stop the players getting into vents, but there was no opening kills, and that's where the struggle was, is allowing that bomb plant to go into the lower bomb side without too much of a contention.
Outset, map 10's in. Deagle and Marcelius taking contact towards outside, spamming through the smoke as face crack sprays back, gets Dennis opening up the round here, getting a second kill for Almasa as he cleans up the cash and gets so much money in the bank for the FORZE side. If they can get more of these Mac 10 kills, that'll be even more positives, especially considering the remaining CTs all have head Kevlar, but taking very close contact faces. Truthful get 1 frag back, looking for Jerry next to the bomb. No, swings perfectly timed.
This is very aggressive from FORZE in the early stages of Nuke. This is only the second round, Jay, but they're putting a lot of pressure on. They're looking very aggressive. They start to slow it down now, realizing the fact they've got a 4-on-2. Oh, good shot coming out from APEKS with the Deagle, but he needs to be able to check button to the right side behind him of where Exy Power is. Now Gruss is the last one left. Not really much that he can do here. 1-on-3, you've got to think, maybe he goes for it, maybe he tries to save. Oh, 1-on-2, he might try and go for it now, but he's only on HP.
To get some good headshots in, especially with Jerry with the AK now in his hands. I mean, a Mac 10 could take him down easy anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. His best bet is to go outside and trust if he can find the scout that was dropped it. In the garage area, he'll hold on to this main weapon. It's the only thing that APEKS will have going into the next round. And yeah, 2-0 start for the FORZE camp. The team's looking extremely good here for their T side. And you would expect the T side to go relatively well for FORZE. Obviously on a map like this, you would hope that the CT halves would pick up, but FORZE can get this early control, and that's going to be all the positives here.
Yeah, you've got to think, get the force buy-in, at least in that last round from APEKS, looking at a 3-0 start from FORZE. Maybe look at seeing if you can turn over a couple of gun rounds, try and put 5-6 rounds up on the board, and then really start to claw them back, getting into that second half on that CT side. APEKS shouldn't be upgrading too much more on the remaining players that are sort of bored around their scout. You've got to think 3 Mac 10s. This is a great opportunity to start to farm up some money, considering the fact as well, the only Gruss is the only player with the armor.
Truth towards outside will face the full brunt of the outside control. Face cracking armors, a quick USP and Krieg kills. Simple stuff coming in for the T-side players. PT50 around the corner, the perfect chance to get a kill, but couldn't land the headshot. The aim punch throws him off. Face gets that frag and gets another kill on Dennis as well. Quick 360 as he leaves Gross alone in a 1-on-5. Easy cleanup for the anti-eco. 3-0 start should go the favor of FORZE. The Eagle does find 1 pick there, but the Krieg should get recovered pretty easily by Flitten. Indeed it does. The Eagle also to spare. Rifles coming in for APEKS.
Been practicing on the good old Tony Hawk Pro Skater or whatever those games are called. That was a nice little 360 coming out from the Mac 10, but it's good to see that we're seeing the T's being incredibly sharp on the T side. The Mac 10 being able to get a fair amount of kills, upgrading one of them, not upgrading though onto Facecrack and Jerry, which you can kind of understand they still want to take it as a bit of a bonus round. You've got 3 players without Kedlar on that city side, so it could be a bit of a bonus. This is very quick out towards the ramp room, and, well, there's no one here.
Straight up and down into the B site they can go. The AUG is first to face. Actually does catch Exy for a decent kill. So they're getting a little bit overly aggressive in this one for the T's. The Molotovs do go up, and the bomb site control is under control of FORZE. Bomb plant is going to be secured eventually, with damage continuing to suppress the T-side camp. Flit does come up with a pick back on Grosto, so it's a 4-on-4.
Trying to set themselves up for the retake. There's so much utility still in the post plant for the T's that they can just keep putting down. They've got double Molotovs, so many flashes too. APEKS need to get on a move on. That's a good shot coming out from Marcelios. And now the T's are starting to overextend, taking Jules they didn't need to. And now Jerry with the Mag 10. Oh, he's brought it back, Jay, with a couple of kills.
Transfer the spray to low HP player. Now Flit comes in on Dennis. APEKS still going to stick on the bomb, but Flit will take him down. 3 kills to his name. 4-0 start for FORZE. APEKS looking like they were on the retake, but one Mac 10 changed everything about the complexion of the round.
Oh my goodness. It looked like it was all falling apart there. We saw FORZE getting very aggressive as that bomb timer was going down low, and APEKS were ready for it. They had a 4-on-2 advantage, and Jerry brings that back. And I tell you what, Jay, considering the fact they had, what, 2 Mac 10s still in the playing field, even the Mac 10s were finding kills. You look at the money line now for FaceCrack and Jerry, post-buy, it's around 7K. There is so much money for the FORZE cam to work with, and they're taking a tactical pause. Okay, didn't expect this.
Okay, then. I honestly would have believed this would be APEKS taking the tactical and just thinking about how they're going to take face on this one, because like, they've lost control of the CT side very early on to this one, and you would have hoped that this would be their CT side sort of their CT side sort of dominance, on their map pick, on a map that they're confident on a map that they've been able to beat out against FORZE multiple times in the past. Well, so far, not the start that we would have liked to see here, but it is going to be still the positives for the FORZE side. 4-0, APEKS down to the half-buy rounds. The Deagles set, the smokes in, and defaults in play for the T's.
A bit of a heavy stack towards the upper floor to come out from the APEKS side, keeping 4 players towards this A bomb site and just a single player outside. FORZE up. In a round like this, you've got to expect, they can have a lot of options. They've already got a fair bit of map control towards outside, but you want to be making sure you're using your utility really well. You don't want to sort of take any dry pigs against those Deagles, because that's where rounds where you're up against an eco really starts to crumble, is when you're just taking raw pigs.
AWP shots, not finding anything towards outside. Smokes to go down. One player seen towards the secret area. Spray from Flit will do a lot of damage. Marcelius eventually finished off by FaceCrack, opening up the round here, opening up the kills for FORZE. Still towards outside and now towards the hell position in the locker rooms. They want to smoke off and try to keep the CT suppressed for the moment. Flit tries to enter. Akez does take down a player of the T-side forces. They have been suppressed and time has been worn down to a low amount. But as FORZE regain the amount of advantage, they find their way in from ramp from towards B.
Yeah, they're really taking their time here, FORZE. FaceCrack outside, you've got to expect to be a lower play. They're bringing that bomb out towards ramp. Already the rotations are coming through. Truth really needs to be able to hold a big defensive hold here. Try and waste as much time as possible, because he's really the only defender to this lower bomb site. A head coming out from FaceCrack. The bullet can't connect, and the bomb gets planted. And for APEKS, they've picked up an AK, so at least for Dennis, he should save this.
Tried to stall for as long as he could, but insanely not to be there in the lower bomb site. 5-0 start for FORZE. Certainly where they wanted to be in this one. And this is a massive turnaround from previous sort of matches. APEKS have usually been able to take it pretty close when they were on Nuke. So much as an 11-4 half on their CT side. And yeah, they let FORZE get the pistol win conversions initially on the T side line, but now they've gone so far as to win a rifle, convert another round. If they can convert another rifle off the back of this, FORZE may find themselves in a really good spot.
Yeah, you've got to think, you look at the scoreline, you think, oh, 5-0, yeah, FORZE have obviously done a lot right. Yeah, there is, but we've only seen one gun round. So this is really the opportunity where APEKS need to respond. They can't afford to let this economy build on the T side. They can't afford to continue this momentum. it's going to take a few rounds for APEKS in a row to really start to siphon off this economy, because even with it built so far up, Jay, even if APEKS string a few rounds together, the loss bonus is going to build. So for FORZE, they're in such a great position in the early start of Nuke.
Set towards the outside control for the CT camp. FORZE are being very passive about how they want to take this contact play here. But one player on the top of the silo, two players tentatively peeking outside, but other than that player over at the blue box area, there's not really much coming in from the CTs. Not pushing so far forward, and FORZE responding with similar passiveness means that we're locked in stalemate for the early round.
I'll tell you what, they've already baited out a hell of a lot of utility on the CT side. They've got 3 flashes and a smoke, so as soon as an execution comes through, there's going to be hardly any counter utility for APEKS to work with. Malta is going to be able to get an AWP kill outside, so that's a good start for APEKS to work with. It's been a while since they've had a man advantage, now make it 2.
Good frag, 5 on 3. And FORZE are backing up. They're going to save their weapons in this one. Taking a lot of time to get themselves set towards outside. Oh, actually, no, never mind. They're just putting up utilities and we can go towards outside in the end. I thought they were saving, but no. X utility picked up, smokes down to try and ensure that the Molotov doesn't burn that much further on here. Small gap to work with for the T's. They creep their way down secret and continue onto the B site.
APEKS have got a little bit of information, obviously seeing those smokes come out outside, but they don't know because FORZE was so silent whether they actually committed to it or that it was a fake. So it's brought Malta's attention over towards this radio room. Now he's heard the footsteps. Now the rotations can start to come through.
Leg shot, AWP not seeing the player cross. They still take down Jerry for 1, but they get the bomb plant in, face crack, tag to 28. Needs to get at least a kill in to try and give a bit of breathing room for Flit. AWP can't do this on his lonesome. The AK faces, can't take out APEKS, does take him down the end with a headshot, and Flit may be pressured here. Gruss gets Flit in the end, face crack does go down, so 4 players left to the APEKS side as they get themselves a first on the board of the CT cap.
And that's more like it from APEKS, being able to find a couple of opening picks, so sort of big hats off to obviously Malta, being able to take the opening jewel outside, continue his position up to the upper bomb site, then takes down the player towards Hut, holds onto that 5 on 3, rotates, come through as a unit rather than singular for APEKS. Yeah, they allow a bomb plan to come through, but the retake looked really strong there. And being able to pick up 3 AK certainly going to help them going into the following gun round. Now, I'm wondering when we're going to see the quick uppertake to come out from FORZE, because so far it's been pretty slow, it's been pretty methodical, it's been ramp room being taken, we've seen some vent dives, some outside presence. Haven't seen anything fast really yet from FORZE.
XC opens up the frags this time in a much more quicker opening kill. Much, maybe different comparison to the previous sort of standard default positions, a 5 on 3 as Jerry does find one more player outside of the squeak door, trying to open things up and get the kills on the board for APEKS, but they can't quite find them here. 2 players down, 2 AK still left for Gross and Dennis, but FORZE have gained quite the advantage here.
Yeah, they really have, and you've got to think for the APEKS side, as soon as they lose that opening kill outside of Malta and the AWP duel, straight away, Truth tries to find an answer back, opens up Squeaky, doesn't find anything. Even for Dennis, completely blind, face crack answers through. This is a fantastic round from FORZE. APEKS are just getting picked apart now. Oh, what?
1 kill found for face crackers. Gross just can't quite seem to finish the job. 39 HP, he was so low. And Almaza swings from Hut, gets another kill on the board. All 5 alive for FORZE. Their confidence on T is starting to look scary.
It really is. Now, all we saw there was just they baited in aggression. They got the opening pick outside. They were like, right, everyone just stay where you are. Wait for the CTs to overextend. They get a 5 on 3, then it's a 5 on 2, and we just see some really great jewels being hit from face crack. But this is getting to a point for APEKS where that was incredibly worrying. That was probably one of the worst rounds we've seen from them yet. A 6-1 lead coming out from FORZE. APEKS need to be able to turn it around, and I think there needs to be a little bit more contention outside. It feels like for FORZE, they're finding a lot of kills and a lot of impact in that position. Or
impact being heard here towards the ramp room entrance as Marcelis does catch Almaza a bit overly aggressive. APEKS is dealt with though. Another kill going back the T's on the trade. They expect Truth to be there somewhere. Jump face from Jerry. Throws his aim off so Truth can get the pick and double up on XC as well outside the door. 4 on 2 scenario and FORZE's over aggression is what's going to cost them here in round 8.
The AWP not quite missing out, but now it's a 2-on-2, Jay. And for APEKS, they had a 4-on-2 advantage. The AWP from Flit, and this is all starting to fall apart. Truth did so much work. We saw Jerry jumping up to see if he could spot anyone towards top of hut. Truth gets away with a couple of kills, but from there, that's when the T's come into their own. Flit and Face Crack working together to try and bring this back. A 2-on-1 situation. A Flit, Heaven, line coming out with the AWP. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's hard to see from APEKS, because you've got to think, like, with a 4-on-2, you shouldn't be losing rounds like that, Jay.
Their over-aggression is both their a double-edged sword, I guess you could say, there for FORZE.
Yeah.
Not a double-edged sword over on our case partners at Hellcase, though. It's only skins and only case, which you can open by using codes MaltaV and MaltaV15 for your free money and free refill bonuses, as respective only at hellcase.com. But yes, double-edged sword or not, FORZE 7-1 up, losing quite the amount of control in that last round, but the economy has not suffered for it. They've built it up over the course of this half, and this is good for a T-side, like, shockingly good right now from FORZE.
They're in a fantastic position. You could not have asked for a better start on T. APEKS probably in a position where they're starting to get a little bit nervous now, maybe a bit antsy to start to make some plays that maybe not that they don't make sense, but they're a little bit more like threatening plays. They're a little bit more desperate, because you've got to think APEKS just need to put some rounds on the board. The timing from XE Power, everything's going wrong for APEKS.
It's time to be scared. I think if you're APEKS right now, like, oh boy. Oh boy. Gross down, Truth Marcelius. Also tagged up, outside control, inside control, all manners of control gained here by the T-side line. And time is ticking away. Marcelius catches two towards outside, only gets one frag as FORZE slowly make their way inland. APEKS could catch them over here towards the lobby position. See several Flit turns around, gets to SMG of Truth, chimes in with one, then it's drive frag back, gets the bomb down, but now needs a 1 versus 2 with 12 HP. It's going to be so difficult, and in the end, it ends up being too much for him to take. 8-1, FORZE win T-side.
And if I'm APEKS, I'm trying to go for something really different. Let's just see, like, maybe rush hut. You know, maybe see if you can push the ramp presence. We've seen Gruss and Marcelios set up a quite aggressive two-man hold towards ramp. We haven't seen anything over-aggressive from APEKS. When they've lost opening fights and they've lost opening duels, we have seen aggression coming out. I just don't understand how FORZE are taking another tactical. It's like, it should not be that way. Being 1 to 8 down for APEKS, you should expect them to be taking the tactical pauses. But I guess for Jerry, just trying to maybe put a message through to say, right, you know, we're up 8-1. Let's not get cocky. Let's play our own game. Let's try and push this lead as far as we can, because that only makes our second half so much easier.
Yeah, I mean, the more rounds that they get at this stage, the more FORZE are going to put pressure on APEKS. Remember that it is the CT side where they are most favored on for the APEKS camp. And again, remember, it was their CT side that won them out overall there with the 11-4 dominating half. 11-4 is not possible now for APEKS. It's possible for FORZE, and, you know, it's a probability, I think, that they can go even further than that. But right now, the dominant team that you said in the pregame was one of the best on Nuke is now looking nothing like the best on Nuke at the moment. They are being slaughtered by FORZE. Outside contention, nades that they try to take Flit down. Actually, Dennis does land that kill, so they should know that he's here in the midst of the smoke. Shadow being seen, but still face crack sprays miss. So Dennis gets a tidy double and gets out of dodge.
Oh, what a huge round so far coming out from Dennis. And these are one of the, or two of the advantages now where you can't lose this. You need to be making sure that you're converting this round. A couple of players left now for FORZE. This is all starting to fall apart. Almazer and Exi. Even the AWP is not really checking the player towards the left of him, out towards ramp. And does get Marcelios, tries to fall back. But for APEKS, you've just got to think, trying to keep 3 or 4 players alive in a round like this is really what they need to convert it, because their economy is looking really rough. So the more players they lose, the worse going forward it is going to be.
$50 seconds to the clock. Shot in from Akez, takes out Exi, and Almazer left alone. So FORZE this time shut down with relative confidence. And APEKS Only got one player to deal with. They should know roughly where Almaza is. He's got 30 seconds to try and clutch the situation. And in theory, you could take out the two players that are here in Mini and Hart. I don't expect there to be much of anything outside of those two frags potentially killed. For Almaza jumps into the site. AK gets caught off with the knife out in his hands. And that's a second to the board of the CT side.
Hey, you saw APEKS there just making a little bit of a glimpse towards that secondary AWP. Now, Truth is no stranger to that AWP on this APEKS side, trying to back up Marcelios on maps like Overpass and New and Mirages. But they're the opportunity for it. They're opting against it. They just want to go for the rifles instead. And FORZE. Are they going to be able to, again, keep APEKS on that singular round addition where, well, so far at least, Jay, we have not seen APEKS being able to follow up rounds. So this is their opportunity to really start to break the economy. Miss Molly out from main, but Exipower is going to be able to find the kill anyway.
And we'll frag to open up. Ake is going to try and reaggress and catch Jerry. Tagged up low outside of this squeak door area. If he finds that kill, it could be another way back in for the APEKS side. He's the most likely to get one here, but Jerry shuts him down with a simple kill through the smoke. I think just as it was fading. 3 left standing for APEKS. How back from Truth here. Small gap at the left-hand side of that smoke. He's hearing a lot of footsteps in from lobby. There's a knife kill that also came in from against Exipower's part. Okay. That's a TK for the FORZE side. And will that bring things back here for APEKS?
Wait, that was a TK?
Yeah.
I didn't quite see that. Oh,
no,
okay.
No one went down for APEKS. It was a 5 versus 3. Now it's 4 versus 3.
Alrighty. Well, Face Crack is completely undetected towards heaven, so FORZE can kind of just not forget about that too hard because Gruss is now starting to aggress out through lobby, looking for a little bit more, but they know exactly where he is. He can start to get sandwiched. They're even going to try and go for the bomb plant, even while Gruss is still here towards lobby.
Yes, that kill on Almaza in the end. 1 point of health for the man, though. Marcelius. 100 HP, gets an O-scope in. Jerry suddenly left alone. Got Cross easy to deal with, but still, he loses this fight. Triple kill for the player on 1 point of health, and APEKS bring things back. And the thing, that all started with a knife to the back of the FORZE side. Big mistakes made from Jerry. That will cost them there.
I have no idea how that happened. I mean, it happened, and FORZE, you've got to think that they'll be kicking themselves they weren't able to trade out Gruss, considering he was on 1 HP. And the auto shotty is coming out for the APEKS. Trying to see if he can maybe go for something a bit cheeky, start to play towards that hut position, maybe near Squeaky. And now 3 rounds up for the APEKS side, looking to see if they can get as many as possible to just bring this game back, Jay. And here it is towards the hut face.
XM set and ready to rip them apart, and this is a map where the auto shotgun can be so effective and so good. Marcelius is tagged up early though. AWP obviously having their force back here and into the outside controls where FORZE will go. Had a lot of success to this position, but also had a little bit of failings here in the last few rounds. APEKS for the moment playing passive, and FORZE slowly taking map control.
Yeah, this is very passive outside from both Dennis and Marcelios. Now, with the cross smokes going down, it'll be a bit difficult for that AWP to really find any impact. And Face Crack just making sure... Oh, no. I was going to say, making sure that he starts to move out once those smokes are gone, but it doesn't make a difference because the AWP connects anyway.
Perfectly timed from Marcelius. Big green gun and big frag. Face Crack to fall, and FORZE are looking a little bit lost now that they've been met with some resistance on the APEKS side. Trying to go inside towards the A bomb site. 3 players here in lobby 2 coming out of Squeaky. Jerry looks like he wants to split in from Hut. And APEKS is so ready for this. Watch that auto shotty. See what he can get out of this one. Shots on Almaza, connects damage, no kill. AK now pops in for Jerry, now looking for players back here. Backstab is incoming as Flit and Exy get 2 more frags. Truth back to the back lines of the site, gets Jerry back for a 2-on-3 scenario. If he can get a 2-on-2, he sets it up for Gross, but they're going to die through the vent, and the AK is going to cut off rotation.
Flit's in a really strong position here, at least getting the information. Doesn't win out the fight, so this makes it a little bit awkward. And now definitely the information's come through that it's a lower site play. But it's really got to come out down to Exipower, Jay, to find the impact. Because Almeza, he's playing out towards decontamination, but he's only got 10 points of health. He's
the last chance. He's the last line of defense. X has got to get a kill here. Takes that fight, wins it out against Truth. Gross knows where he is. No idea where Almazer is. Will drop down towards old Toxic, reveal his position. A flashbang at best. Will tap the bomb once. Expect double doors to open up. Deacon should open up now. Sees the AWP, takes it down. Sees the last player as well. Tapped again. Almazer just going to hold presence and hold face. Does fall. Has Gross got time for this clutch defuse? He's got his kills. And he's got his kit for the board of APEKS. What a clutch from Gross.
Oh, I tell you what, that was really just a big brain play. Like, he just set himself up so nicely. He knows exactly straight away that AWP is out towards the radio room. Doesn't know where the second player is, but after tapping that bomb and starting to relocate on the side, he hears the decontamination door open up and just plays it so well. The fact that he keeps trying to bait out the duel from Almazer, and he's so low on 10 HP. Almazer really needed to not peek there, but at the same time, didn't know if he was sticking the bomb or not. Another big round for APEKS and for FORZE. That's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, big loss on their part. They've been taking a lot of losses over the course of these last few rounds. I mean, such confidence bringing from them in the early game. They got to 8-1. Now they're starting to bring it back for APEKS. And FORZE better put a lot of stock in their CT side. If they can get a defensive out here, then they can still win the map. But, you know, the confidence that you could have seen to potentially, you know, go like 12, 11 rounds up at the end of the half, it's all gone now, you know, and you can see it from their play style, their placement, you know, how they're going to play these rounds. The confidence is just not there, and it does concern me a little bit for FORZE.
Looking to see if they can find a little bit more responsive rounds going into at least the late stage of this first half. APEKS out towards the back of vent. AWP, great shot coming out from Exian from here. They should just go straight into the upper bomb side. Again, hardly any utility for the APEKS side, and this A bomb site is pretty much completely undefended.
Gonna concentrate though. We've seen trades come in from APEKS in the post plant. Truth getting out a dodge towards lower. Marcelius with the AWP covering him off. Are they just gonna go for a safe here? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
A lot more passive than I was expecting from APEKS, but looking at the money line, maybe that is the best call for them here on CT side. It does mean FORZE get to 9. But you know what? If they found a trade early on in that heaven position, I could have seen a way that they would have been able to, you know, to secure that round and get the retake together.
But the thing is, they just completely misread the situation because they FORZE took ramp control. So for APEKS, they started to put a few players towards that lower bomb side and at least outside. And for FORZE, they don't commit lower. They end up backing off, going in through the upper bomb site. And as soon as Gross goes, or APEKS goes down, there's no one there on the bomb site. It's completely opened up. Truth is the closest one to at least find some impact from heaven. But the call just comes out, no, just go for the save. We don't really have any money to work with. And we've still got 2 more rounds to play in this first half. Because you've got to think, if they go for that, they would have been on double eco status. So it would have got very, very awkward. So in this case, all they just try and do, save the weapons in, upgrade again. FORZE, though, that's their answer, Jade. That's their answer to stop this momentum.
Utility sets. Limited for the CT camp. Molotov's coming in very early here from the roof control. No commitment off the back of it, even though it does look like FORZE are set up to basically full on go towards the site. Instead of leaning towards ramp, Marcelius baited in, does not take his shot. The second phase does bait in an opportunity, but no kills for his name. So it's Gross actually getting a headshot with the AK-47. Face cracked to 4, but Jerry swings in just in time to get a 4 versus 4 scenario and continue storming up ramp room, but they go ahead and rotate back slowly. They're going to try and pull the rug from underneath APEKS's feet.
This is exactly what they did in the last round. And look at the position that APEKS are in. They're now starting to aggress out from lobby. They realize the fact, hang on a minute, it could be a wraparound back to this A bomb site. Oh. Truth can't get out of there alive. Some really great trades to come out from FORZE. And now this has to be the save. Surely there's no way that Marcelios and Dennis can go for this.
Do they think that it's better to get these rifles for another good buyback, just force the issue, or try and luck it? Well, Dennis wants to luck it, and he goes down for it. It's all left to Marcelius. Same strat, same play. But this time APEKS were ready for it. They were still unable to counter it against the FORZE camp. 10 to the board, and looks like maybe 11-4 may still be on the table for this T side. Still not looking as confident as previously, though, and in the end, they actually lose all 5 rifles. P250 kill for Exi as the AWP's caught looking the wrong way, and a force back is going to have to come through from APEKS.
And that hurts. That really hurts as an in-game leader. The fact that you've got such a read on the situation that you actually know what they're going to do, and it still doesn't work. We saw the exact same play coming out from FORZE. APEKS, instead of just rotating outside and going lower, they start to over-aggress through Squeaky, maybe try and see if they can catch FORZE off guard. And again, just the trades coming out, the buys looking absolutely dreadful going into round 15. Oh, they've got one M4, a FAMA, two MP9s, and a Deagle. And, well, at least the Deagle's doing work, Jay.
Marcelius also was outside. Facecrackers, no idea. Gets that kill before he disappears for the smoke, and with the lack of firepower, still APEKS are able to get damage done. 5 on 3, and XE Power gets Marcelius next up, so 4 on 3. Favor still to APEKS, though. The rifle has dropped. There's still SMGs and FAMASas and a Deagle that has already gotten headshots in. Grass is starting to overextend here. Almaza could catch him, and indeed he takes his headshot to the back of the head. 3 on 3 now. FORZE have recovered what otherwise looked like a very awkward opener.
It did look a bit awkward outside, didn't it? We saw a lot of aggression to come out from APEKS. Now, Truth is in this secret position. Someone needs to be keeping the eyes on this area. Jerry and XE both coming in. No one's checking the angle. Truth gets away, and that bomb slides down behind him. But it's XE to find the trade once again, and they bring it back, Jay. There are so many times in this first half we've seen APEKS looking like they're in the better position. Are they going to go back to upper? Okay, APEKS isn't rotating to lower.
I don't know if you heard the footsteps from the outside, though. They're going all the way around towards lobby. If they went through mini, there was a chance that APEKS could line them up. Now we should hear these footsteps coming out from the hut position. But he's made his way outside, grabbed the AK. He's going to secret as well. APEKS has misread this entirely. The only way back in is if they went down through the vents, but they're not going to do that. Bomb plant on A site, 1 on 2 retake with no kit and a flashbang.
I hope he starts to realize. Surely someone's calling this out that is not the lower bomb site. Okay, I think he knows now. No, he doesn't. He does now.
Surely at this point, so many months after the tone update, you know, when they changed the bomb site.
The beeping?
Yeah, the beeping tone of the bomb site, depending on which bomb site you've gone to. Surely APEKS should have been able to realize at that point it's going to be an A play, but that's a couple of mistakes being made there. Truth getting overly aggressive and greedy towards the secret control, and APEKS just having the worst of reads there in the post plant. 11-4 for FORZE, and they do close things out on a pretty decent positive for the T side. Is this going to be their way in to steal the map away from APEKS? And, well, those odds are rightfully so. I mean, they have just lost all manners of control on their CT side of Nuke, by the way. You should never, ever lose a CT side of Nuke this bad.
Yeah, look, it's been a rough one for APEKS. There's no doubt about it. And I sort of mentioned it a little bit in that last round, is that they've had so many positions. I would say out of the 4 rounds that they converted, even in that first half, there was probably maybe 6, 7 rounds where they had a good advantage to win out the round, and they just weren't able to do it. We saw 4 on 2 advantages. We saw 3 on 2s. We saw positional advantages. But it just seems like the trading game was so strong from FORZE. XE Power, 17 kills and only 7 deaths. Huge performer in that first half on the T-side AWP. And look, APEKS, they go for a tactical pause to start off the pistol round, which is a little bit uncommon. Maybe they've got something in mind. And considering that APEKS is down to 100 without buying any utility, he must have dropped a Deagle over to someone. Ah, Baselius has got one.
Upgrade pistols in tow. XE Power don't care about no upgrades though, neither does Almaza. Picks coming in towards the outside. Easy mop up against the T side. Trying to rush down. Flit's got Truth in the back. No idea he's there.
Oh
and
my
this
goodness.
is worst case scenario. Worst case scenario for APEKS.
Well, it was actually a P250 and a Julies that got dropped that just didn't find anything. We just saw some really just insane kills coming out from FORZE. Really great taps with that USP, even for Flit, just Truth walking straight past him in through ramp. Wow, that was over very, very quickly. And I tell you what, Jay, this first map of the series might be over very, very quickly.
APEKS straight up, Truth going down, APEKS down, Gross gets picked off by XE Jerry with 2 frags. And yeah, Eco rush to try and get some sort of pace in and try and catch these guys off guard. The XM does get involved, gets his frag back. Jerry triples in the end with the SMG. Plenty of money gained by those shotties and SMGs. But it's all to the buy here for APEKS. This is their last chance. If they don't get this, it's over.
I'm with you. Yeah, like they really have not given them many chances to allow a comeback on Nuke. But you've just got to think that APEKS need to play with a little bit of freedom. Their backs are certainly against the wall. Even for that XM of FaceCrack, certainly could have upgraded that to a FAMAS or just anything. But you know what? He's going to keep on to it. Wants to see if he can do some more damage. Fast play outside. This is very aggressive from APEKS. They don't have the cross smokes.
And they have to go out blind for it. Straight up, AWP does face missed its shots. APEKS are getting the tags up against them. The Flit does find a kill here. M4 swings even further and gets Truth down. Smokes from Jerry towards the lower secret position. Will try and suppress them going in towards the hallways. But a 5-on-3 has already been gained by FORZE, and look at how far pushed out Almaza is. Backstab information, whatever he's got it in hole. And this auto shotty, he can smell blood in the water. He can taste them around this corner here. Flashes in to try enter for the T side, and FaceCrack just ready to melt his way through these guys. Flashes go too far, they peek, they line up, that's one frag. Jerry swings in with two more, so the shot he does not get its sequence, but it does contribute to the round, and FORZE will get away confident at 14-4 now.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not really a fan of the dry peaks outside. Like, if you're maybe doing it against an eco, I think it's fine. But when you're in a gun round, you've always got that opportunity where your opposition on the CT side has picked up an AWP. And for XUpower, yeah, he missed a couple of shots outside, but he probably should have been able to convert them. At least for Flit, he's able to sort of back up Exy and say, it's all right, mate, I can chime in. Just a great play towards lower between FaceCrack and Jerry. Of 14-4, another eco round going for APEKS. Not forcing the issue here completely, Jay. Half bind to try to play for OT.
Eco out. Spray through. Jerry does get two frags before being traded. Shadow being seen from FaceCrack, just looking towards outside to get Dennis, who does actually get Exy power, so some damage being done. Truth, oh, Truth, hold on. The Eagle's out. Oh, he misses the second kill. That costs them. That could have been a way back in for APEKS. And Ned's coming up. They know exactly where Dennis is. He's got no way out unless he forces with another good Deagle headshot.
Oh, man. That is hard to watch. That really is. That could have been an answer. Oh, Truth. I mean, he's probably feeling even more awkward than we are. That's tough, because as soon as he takes that first pick, the player just turns around from main, but that really should have been a kill onto FaceCrack. That was so close too.
Oh boy, APEKS. This is not where you want to be in the quarterfinals. This really has fallen apart. And it's kind of been like that since the word go as well, you know, like it's like, it's a difference if you lose this much on your non-favored side, but going into CT, being swamped by FORZE, and then going into T and being swamped by FORZE is a completely different thing. On a map that you should be confident on a map that, you know, is one of your favorites, on a map that you were able to 16-7 FORZE on previously, they may be about to do you 3 rounds better. And if they do so, map 2 looks to be a disgusting prospect, I think, for APEKS. They need a round. Need some sort of survival chance, but 11 to overtime Dweg, it's going to be such an ask for these guys.
Yeah, look, it really is, and you've got to think for FORZE, just try and end it as quickly as possible, bring that momentum into that second map of the series. APEKS, I've got a single lurk outside of Dennis to maybe sell a little bit of a fake outside. Truth is going to be able to connect onto the upper bomb side, so this could be the upper play for the T's.
Straight through from Jerry. APEKS does get a FaceCrack in the end. Jerry does fall to Gross, so 2 players standing. This may be the survival round for APEKS. Indeed, it looks to be as Flit and Face, Exy Crowd Power, I should say, excuse me. Left to save their weapons, get out towards ramp room, stay back in towards CT spawn, and concede one back for APEKS. And again, it's a survival round for them, one that they absolutely need to take.
That's big. Very big for APEKS, and the fact that they keep 5 players alive, Jay, because, yeah, they're up against 15, and, yeah, the economy isn't going to really make too much of a difference, but at the same time, it's going to make a difference in terms of confidence. The fact that they were able to be very successful on a gun round. It gives them a little bit of a silver lining going forward, but how much further forward, we'll have to wait and see. money lines here to be able to buy the investment again. They can drop, well, at least XE can drop an M4, Flick can drop an M4. Maybe you'll get Almazer buying himself. It's actually FaceCrack that buys himself, so they'll get away with all the rifles necessary, Jay.
Yeah, reinvestment from the CT camp. Then all the major weapons come in, and again, you can imagine that any one of these good rounds here from FORZE would be enough to end it. They don't even need a full buy, they just need a good defense. Run the clock down, take all 5 players out, however you do it, FORZE just need a round. 10 to go for APEKS to get us to an OT context. Smokes down from FaceCrack when the Molotov's out, expecting the T-side players to be down in secret, and indeed they are. Nays up against Flip, 44 HP, and APEKS meanwhile peeking out from the ramp position, gets XE down, now opens up a split in towards the B side, but they're going towards A, they're going to line up for Jerry, he gets damage on towards 2, takes one down, doubles up in the end, and Almazer still sitting in the rafters, ready for them to make their way out, doesn't hear the footsteps, they make their way out position, and APEKS not checking his angle, does get the kill on Almazer as the spray goes awkward, they secure the bomb plant in a 3-on-3.
Sloppy spray coming out from Almazer and punished immediately from APEKS. Couple of great opening kills to that A-bomb side. And Jerry was doing so much work to be able to bring this round back for FORZE. You've got to think 3-on-3. Might as well try and go for it here.
Molotov's in, both sides of the site, spray through from APEKS, gets FaceCrack down, the crossfire locked on. Jerry looking to save alongside Flit, who's backing off as well. Out towards Deco in the vent area. They have to get an exit at best, but definitely not win this round. 15-6 as APEKS continue to just stay alive.
Okay. That's a good sign, I want to say, from APEKS. Yeah, maybe they make a big mistake of not being able to smoke off Jerry or at least check the angle. We saw all 3 players wrapping into main without checking Jerry at all. But they're looking pretty sharp, at least on this T side. We're seeing some pretty good rounds from them in a row now. And FORZE up. Realizing the fact, okay, even though we're at 15, you know, we can force buy, we can make aggressive plays, but we've got to be thinking long term. So they're just going to eco this, Jay, not really just destroying their own economy, and just realize the fact, okay, we'll get a gun round out into the next.
Only good to see things start picking up for the APEKS side. As you mentioned, FORZE are just happy just to sit pretty, save their weapons in. Do lose Jerry early on to the AWP, so that's an opening frag found for APEKS once again. And one of the weapons taken out, they can't have any more impact. And not if that was the AK. And dropped out in the open now with the CZ P250. Only other weapons to defend elsewhere on the site. Utility coming in from the T's now going down towards the A site. Up in the rafters, no one is seen. There's no one on site either, so hell passive for FORZE. I think they're just trying to save the AK here.
That was a missed molly there. Obviously, used to be able to get onto that sort of like yellow position, not anymore. I think it was supposed to be a front default molly. So for APEKS, certainly after looking at that, maybe I'd have a bit of a chat to sort of say, right, who's throwing that molly? If so, what do we need to do to get someone else throwing it if it's not quite landing? Because even small mistakes like that, it can certainly make a big difference, especially when going for upper executions. If your utility isn't on point, it gives a lot of advantages up to that CT side to sort of hold positions rather than being forced out to sort of rotate on the side and reposition. And FORZE not really even looking for some extra kills, especially got FaceCrack towards the heaven position. But outside of him, everyone else is just saving onto their weapons.
And both AKs recovered again for the CT camp. Almazer left with the CZ, hoping for a player to pop out into the ramp room, but no one is going to be seen. They just get away with those 2 AKs, and that be everything. 15-7. This is the same scoreline that APEKS were on match point in when they won against FORZE in the last best of 3. Here's a chance for FORZE to return the favor. AKs in, AWP's out. Both Marcelius and Exing are challenged with those big green guns, one of which is actually going towards outside in the garage area. Exing does find Marcelius. FaceCrack pushes in, catches True from the back, 5-on-3, and already FORZE have gained control.
And no one's watching. No one is watching on the T side for that upper execution, upper aggression, I should say, through HUD. And that's exactly what happens. XE Power even gets another pick. And I think this is it, Jay. I think this is really where APEKS start to crumble now.
I think this is GG. Like 2 versus 5. Yes, APEKS have come back from a couple of these circumstances over on the CT side, but never so far here on T. 1 kill goes the way of Dennis, so I'm still yet to be proven wrong. But APEKS are on the right track. AK waiting for someone to pop out of main. Potential pop flash in to allow the player on the corner of face to take a peek in. AK sees Flip. Flip takes him down. Dennis last man standing, 1 on 4. This is over. Face up, spray through. Face crack finishes the job at 16-7 for FORZE. A dominant performance on map 1 of Nuke. A map that APEKS should have had in the bag, but now that they've lost it, the concern really is there for this camp.
Yeah, look, they're in a really bad position. There's no other way of putting it. For APEKS, they never really got going. We saw that first half. I think they played decently. I didn't think they played poorly, but the fact of the matter is they weren't finding the same impact. All we saw FORZE doing was running defaults and finding picks. And for APEKS, they weren't closing out advantages. That was the big thing. They had so many rounds where they had advantages. They weren't closing out the rounds. Yeah, towards the back end there, we saw a pretty good performance from them on T, but they didn't get enough rounds in that first half. They were up against map points. So it was only going to be a matter of time. And to think that your top fragger on the APEKS side has only got 13 kills is a little bit worrying going forward, Jay.
Yeah, and credit to Gross for doing a decent enough job to be able to get that far, but you compare it to XE Power, of course, a player we expect to be fragging out over on that side, and he is like, he is tenfold the size of what you're at, and that's not even including the guys like FaceCrack and Jerry, who even scored more than the likes of Gross. The only player that Gross out-fragged over on that camp of FORZE was Almazo, and he got 12 kills. So that's not an encouraging sign in terms of the formation. I realize it's more than a game of frags, but you take a look at the way things worked out, and it definitely felt like it was an overwhelming force from FORZE. Not confident at every step, but it did look confident for the majority of it, and that scoreline is going to prove to be the ultimate confidence play from FORZE. Nuke, their opponent's map pick, goes their way. Dust 2 is up next, and with FORZE firing on all cylinders, you can imagine that this firepower-based map may look to be one-sided all the same, so don't go anywhere. After this short break, we'll find out who's going to come out on top on map 2 of Dust 2. Welcome back to Malta Vibes. Welcome to our second best of three, third best of three, our second map of the best of three between FORZE and APEKS. And well, what a result we've come up with for the FORZE side. 16-7 on Nuke, on APEKS's best map, on a map that I honestly thought FORZE would ban because they wouldn't be able to win on it, and they got smashed last time. They get smashed this time. No, they were the ones doing the smashing. APEKS looked all sorts of lost, especially on the T side. And on CT side, they just couldn't get enough of a foothold to go, man. Like, this was just, it was decimation. And it's concerning because you take a look at the numbers. Part of the reason why FORZE were able to win was because they were fragging on point. And going into Dust 2, a map that's all about fragging, it's time to be scared for APEKS. Like, this could be them out.
Yeah, look, it really could be. That was quite a poor performance on that first map, and sort of over the break, Jay, I've been sort of like thinking in my head like what has caused that, because for the most part, APEKS are a really strong nuke team, and they've been able to show that they're probably one of the strongest in Tier 2 Counter-Strike. So the fact that they got decimated like that, is certainly something that may have come down to pressure, something that we, don't expect. So, look, going into Dust 2, you've got to think it's going to be a difficult affair for APEKS. For FORZE, I would even say they would be a bit surprised. The fact that maybe they were saying, okay, maybe we can win Nuke if we get off to a good start, maybe if we win both pistols, so, things like that. But the fact that it was a 16-7, FORZE are in a really great position to be able to 2-0 this game now.
Yeah, they really are, and I'm just kind of a bit more still shell shocked off the back of that whole result, because I expected it to be, if FORZE were going to win, they were going to take it like super close because it's such a good map for their opponents. But the fact that they did it so one-sidedly, it's a scary thing to think about for APEKS and their fans, because I just think about, how absolutely dominated you have to be to lose on your best map in the pool, and how, low formation you have to be coming into a match with to be in that position, and into a situation where you can't out-frag your opposition. They're a CIS firepower team. They've been able to out-frag you in that first map already. Going into Dust 2, like, there's just no way for me. Like, there's just got to be a simple 2-0 on the table here for FORZE.
And I think it's also shown the difference in at least the last couple of weeks' performances. We saw both these teams facing off against each other in Week 6, where Nuke was a very different story, and then it ended up being FORZE winning out Week 6 of the Malta Vibe. So look, going into Dust 2, it's like their best map, maybe not the best map in the map pool, but certainly up there with their Inferno, which is obviously an insta-ban for APEKS. There was no way that was going to get picked either. But against Gambit Youngsters, we saw that in the opening best of 1 in the group stage for Week 9. Man, they looked really great. Their T side was looking very impressive.
It's the T side where I think there's going to be the main thing for them. I mean, obviously, with Dust 2 being such a T-sided based sort of a map, obviously, you're expecting firepower to come up to good use, and that's where the firepower can really come to fruition. Obviously, in the context of these two teams, we've never seen Dust 2 between these two squads, but I just want to run you down some of the results between these squads. You take a look at FORZE and who they've been able to beat out on Dust 2. You've got Gambit Youngsters, you've got North, you've got Spirit, you've got Pact, you've got K23, you've got Cyber Legacy, you've got Endpoint. You've got close results against Nordavind and such teams. I realize that Endpoint is not exactly a good sort of squad, but they're making their way through the world. But you take a look at teams like that and you think to yourself, man, the level of competition is relatively high. Meanwhile, you take a look at APEKS, they've got wins against Selector, they've got wins against Tenerife Titans, they've got wins against Honoris. It's not exactly an amazing set of results,
Yeah, I wasn't laughing at Endpoint for anyone out there. No, it was more the fact that Cyber Legacy was somehow in that group there, Jay. Like, how did they somehow become a part of those other teams? But no, like, when you compare the pair, it is results from a massive, or at least a way more top caliber teams in comparison to your lower tier 2 teams. So, look, I think for APEKS, they need to be able to get off to a good start, and that's something we certainly didn't see from them on Nuke at all, Jay. I think this is going to be a struggle. It's going to be a very difficult map for them. I'm just hoping that we see confidence. I'm hoping that we get to see the AWPs really start to shine, get truth on that secondary op on the City side, and just don't let FORZE bring momentum, because as soon as they bring momentum, as soon as they start looking good, that's where I think this map starts to fall apart.
I want to remind you all, as we look towards our pistol, that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta and Home and Gaming Excellence. And to our pistol round, we will look to play for here. APEKS with the defuse kit on Akers, double flash for him. FORZE have the utility on Almaza and Jerry here on the T-side defaults. Obviously, FORZE are starting things off on T-side, and you can see how the odds have shifted. Yes, they are about a whole 1 point something away from the earlier odds of the first map, but having APEKS lose that badly, I'm going to be very concerned here. Pistols going out defaults towards the tunnels area for FORZE. Let's see if they can make this happen.
Quite a heavy stack over towards the B bomb site from APEKS. So if this play into the B bomb site ends up coming out from FORZE, APEKS are going to be able to at least put themselves in some really great positions. They'll have a quick rotate coming out from APEKS, especially with him having the kit over towards this B bomb site.
Flashes and utility in over towards the mid and the A bomb sites here. Taps up from Truth. Will try and hold on against Exy, but Exy just overruns it a simple B250 raid boss headshot. Marcelius comes up with one good kill. Black Glock goes to Flip, finds one. Sees the second, could not get the kill on towards him. APEKS keeps it at 3 versus 3. Almaza sneaking in the backlines for a backstab. Sees one player at CT spawn. Dennis will drop next. Bomb still out in the open though, and APEKS in contesting. A backstab coming in from Gross will start making his way into upper tunnels. They have no idea about this. Jerry caught looking the wrong way. Does get taken down. As APEKS falls next, they can pick up the bomb, get it planted for a 1v2 retake. Gross is so quick, so hot on their heels though. On towards site, seeing that flashbang come in. Check out window now known. Exactly his position. The headshot still comes out on Exy. A tight angle to tag, and now 1 versus 1 for his 3K. Seeing Alma's face outside of the bomb site. The kit's now picked up. He's towards the bomb itself. Taps it once, sticks it. Alma's gonna swing. Alma's gonna swing. Gross is gonna steal it as the knife comes in way too late for Almaza.
Oh, man, if I'm Jerry, I'm pissed. Like, don't go for the knife like that. Just get him with a pistol. You would have probably been able to deny that defuse. Oh, I don't know about that from Almaza. Yeah, getting that extra bit of money, but the bomb being stuck. What a massive round coming out from Gruss. That first shot onto Exy was fantastic. Oh, Jay. Yeah, I don't know about that.
4-on-4 early start from Marcelius and Exy. Trading back and forth. Obviously, the money bonus for that knife kill plus the bomb plant will enable FORZE to buy back into this next round. But with rifles out there, definitely looking to try and take this round away to reset the economy basis and the loss bonus here for APEKS. Get an early 3-1 start, but there's still a 2-round differential here. And again, like, that is unnecessary. They didn't have to go for that knife. Almaza should have made some noise, swung in to try to take the player down. Could have been a very different story for that pistol round.
It certainly could have, but it's one of those things that it's happened. Let's not think about it any further. And player over towards Karvak. Swing coming out. Almaza is still holding the position, even with Exy Power falling back. Flit is going to get pushed on towards Truth, so at least an advantage being brought back into a 3-on-3.
Burst up, Almaza gets Dennis for a frag. Truth bursting back from Jerry, 2-on-2 situation. Does catch another headshot back, 3 kills to his name. Almaza, 2 kills for his own right, got a 4K clutch this. Bursting up, trying to find Grox here. His footsteps will be heard here towards the ramp position. Here's the player facing, but can't get the kill. Gross will close it out there. 2-0 start for APEKS. FORZE did bring it close, but they could not get the win that they wanted.
This is twice now that we've seen APEKS clutching out. 1v2 for Gruss, now 1-on-1. So, look, it's certainly going to be a bit of a confidence booster for the APEKS side, even though that they have been very close. PP Bison coming out for Marcelios. A little bit of an interesting buy, but it is really only Glocks for the T side, so maybe it could work out okay.
Eagles set into the mid position here on the eco round for FORZE. No major investment of Kevlar or utility. Into the short control. Burst in from Marcelius towards the back lines. The PP Bison cleaning house with 2 frags. $1,200 gained by him. Exy does frag back though. M4 set towards the doors. Sees that Exy is next with that bomb on his back. Could gain access to the A site from short, but with players getting picked apart here, this eco going about as you would expect it in the early round here. 3-0 start for the CT camp. Flit's getting closed in upon by Dennis, gets that frag. And Exy will find another exit frag here. If they can take a 3rd frag back, that'll be some damage done to the CT economy.
It's been decent, with not too many upgrades. Get a couple of kills is okay. Keeping the economy line pretty low for this CT side. And not getting to the Deagle in time, but not the biggest of difference coming out from Gruss. FORZE up, looking to try and put some early added pressure on, being able to bring that AWP from Exy Power straight into round number 4. And for APEKS, You've got to think for them on the city side, where's the change up now having to deal with all of the rifles? Are they trying to take some longhouse control? Are they playing really passive in the site? Are they trying to go for something a little bit more aggressive? Because you've got to think this is probably one of the biggest testers that we've seen from Dust 2 yet. Now the rifles are finally out for FORZE.
Op down towards this mid control. Will try and hunt for a frag. No kills being found. No early aggressive face from the CT forces. Out towards the short control. Gruss is the only man really playing contact here towards the short position. He's got a player down there at CT to try and back him up, and Marcellus is making his way out to the mid control. Have to focus fire now towards short because there's a lot of noise being made here, and FORZE could be looking for a commitment. So these swings a good shot to be landed by XC, not going to quite come through here.
Making sure that Marcellus obviously reads that angle. Can't just walk into the AWP without a flashbang or any kind of utility. How long is XC Power going to hold this angle for? Because you've got to think there's got to be a point where he goes, yep, okay. I'm going to start to back off, or at least put my utility down to advance the mid to B play. Oh, Marcelios gets one. Oh, and he even drops that bomb to get 2 kills.
5 on 3, and now they make their way around towards the B site. 2 players set, and blind firing. Dennis does get Jerry in the end. Opened up to the B site via the doors, and now 2 left standing as FORZE get picked apart. APEKS gets Almaza next, and it's a 1 on 5 for Flit. He's got to save his weapon. He's got no chance left in this round.
Wow, okay. I'll tell you what, APEKS are looking at Dust 2, looking really confident. We saw a great couple of kills coming out from Marcelios, and from there we saw Dennis being able to open up on the B bomb side. It all really falling apart. Flit just trying to hold on to this AK, and for APEKS, this is a chance to really, upgrade everyone to AKs. You've got an AWP and 4 AKs to bring into the next round, which really should be a half buy eco. There's no real chance to go for another FORZE investment, even with Flit saving onto that AK. But FORZE up. Bit of a slow start on their map pick. Very similar as a bit of a reverse of Nuke J.
Indeed, yes. APEKS, much better stance. And one, they're going to have to keep things going here if they want to try and keep this round, this map in sort of in their control. A half buy for FORZE may provide another good round for them. Nades up against Flit, already doing that damage here. The only player to force buy is the economy is not exactly fantastic. Fast hit does come through. APEKS gets face crack. Truth and APEKS cleaning house. Easy mop up here against the T side. FORZE 2 on 5.
It's all falling apart now. APEKS again. We've seen a few times for the APEKS camp over the course of this map and the last, where players have been alive on 1 HP. But Flit, not really much he could do. Does have an AK, but Marcelios is even so aggressive with that orb that he can't find anything with it. 5-0 start for the APEKS side. And you've just got to think from FORZE up, they need to make sure that they're staying strong mentally. They're going to take a tactical pause just to kind of think things over. They've got to try and answer back in a way that they drop those AKs on the CT side, because for APEKS, having... Look, any AKs on the CT side is always an added advantage. To have 4 AKs on that CT side, it's like the perfect buy. You can't ask for a better buy than what APEKS have. Unless they wanted to go double AWPs, but outside of that, like this is the one that everyone dreams of on the CT side.
Yeah, it looks good. And the setup and the momentum in the scoreline. There's been no major sort of response back from the FORZE side. AWPs and AKs, a Galil in for Flit. Definitely not the perfect buy there for the T-side camp, especially considering we've seen more and more that FORZE are bringing out the double AWP setups and a lot of the T-sides of Dust 2. Oh, look at the incendiaries coming out, early facing, coming out to the longhouse position. 3 CTs versus 2 of the T-side forces. Smokes will go up and try and suppress for cover as they establish that map control and fallout position. Almaza could be on the take Dennis, and vice versa for Dennis the same. Nade already knows where he is and will do a significant amount of damage to start things off.
They're going to just smoke off to get Almaza back, so it looked like FORZE wanted to contend out from long, but as soon as a bit of early damage has been done to Almaza, they start to back off. maybe try and go for a bit of a double pump in terms of taking this long control. Still quite a heavy presence here from the City side. There's really 3 players out towards long, still trying to contest. Dennis and Gruss working together. That bomb's now dropped in the open. This is all falling apart from FORZE. I can't believe what we're seeing, Jay.
Yeah, they are being just decimated. And you talk about similarities towards Nuke by what FORZE were able to do. That was on their T side is when they got started. This is a CT side of APEKS, so it's like for like in terms of the disadvantage halves of the map itself. 1 on 5 for Xe. And what a half that FORZE should have been able to just dominate and just, you know, get all the frags for. It's not started well at all. You know, they're gonna have to take some serious tacticals and figure out where they're going wrong, because it feels like they got really complacent in that break.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's sort of changed, but yeah, I mean, one point you made in the pregame is the fact of sort of the wins that we've seen from FORZE. They're on a 5-map winning streak on this map. It's like Gambit Youngsters, North, Spirit, you know, some really big teams in sort of the Tier 2 Counter-Strike region, even sort of Tier 1 for North. So the fact that FORZE have had such a track record on this map to come into such a slow start is certainly something that is very unexpected. Holding on to that AWP from Xe, you would think 4K, they can buy here, but if they do buy AKs, they'll have very, very little utility. So they're just going to half buy instead, get those Tech 9s out. And they can't take these AKs out of the City hands. That's their main objective at the moment. Obviously rounds, that's important, but get those rifles out of the City side, get those AKs out of the City hands. That's got to be the biggest sort of element in the gameplay from FORZE.
What? Xe? How did you land that? More specifically, how did you not get killed off by Dennis to start Marcelius with an even more impressive AWP shot? Turns around, face back, flip goes falling next. APEKS spraying through the door, flashed out, blind, 33 HP for the Tech 9. Another one faces up, APEKS gets that kill, knows exactly where Almaza is, taking him so close to death. And suddenly, actually seems like the only capable player left in the server for the T side. 2 kills found by him, but a 3-on-2 as APEKS slowly but surely closing the pincers, try and hunt these guys down.
It's really all down to Xe, and there's no way that they can go B because they've already pushed Gruss very aggressively in the CT upper tunnels. FORZE, oh, do they fake going short? If they go to B, this would be a really awkward call to come out from the Ts, and they're going to back off. It seems like they're in 2 minds of what they want to do here, Jay.
The money line, they can't afford to save here, so FORZE are definitely looking to commit somewhere via a long.
No one's watching long. Marcelius can actually get taken down if he doesn't read this.
AWP does look towards it, though, get taken out by Xe. The bait shot comes in, triple for the big green gun, and now 2 AWPs hold on to defend the A site. Go for the plant and the retake. Xe will get this plant out. Alma's left to try and cover off the short position. No one's watching long at the moment. That's where both the CTs are coming from at the moment here. AKs both coming up very quickly. Someone's got to check this angle. They're both focused on short. Now Alma's looks at the edge of the smoke. As it starts to clear, he will see Truth and take him out. All of a sudden, it's Gruss. And what was a 5-on-2 with low HP now turns to a 1-on-1. Gruss with the AK still looking for Xe, but gets his 2K and just keeps APEKS in with their undefeated streak alive.
Oh my goodness, Gruss goes absolutely massive. Another clutch for the man. He's clutched, what, 3 rounds so far? And keeps the streak alive from APEKS. That was much better from FORZE, much, much better. All they had was an AWP and some Tech 9s. They get away with 4 kills. They don't get away with the round victory. This last shot into Xe. What a clutch to come out from Gruss, man. He's looking insane.
Just as insane as our case partners at Hellcase. You can use code MALTAV15 for your free money and free refill bonuses. Open some sick cases, get some sick skins only at hellcase.com. Fast play out from FORZE. Flash is coming straight through towards the longhouse contact. Jerry takes out Gruss to kick things off. The A site has only Dennis to defend it. APEKS will get the position and now try and hold position alongside the AWP. Automatic weapon with a bolt action ready to receive it. They go towards short instead and back off from all sorts of long control. FORZE can smoke up and walk into the site.
I tell you what, that was actually a very fast long corner smoke coming out from Flit, and it comes off the back of sort of the spawn positions, which is what we've seen T-sides doing a fair bit these days, is learning the fact of you can land smokes off the back of just a spawn position themselves. And because of that, they go fast out from long, they find the opening pick, and now FaceCrack's able to take down a lurk towards mid. A 5-on-3 advantage. APEKS have to play retake.
Dennis AWP. So what? Jerry popping his head up at the worst possible angle. That's like the only pixel that player could get taken out from. It does still lead to a man advantage for FORZE, but could have been a 5-on-3 with a save call pretty much guaranteed there from APEKS. Now it just requires a little bit more effort and a little bit more risk here on these rifles. Backstab coming in from FaceCrack in particular. Should be able to shut down Marcelius, assuming he plays very carefully. The AWP, no idea this AK is coming in for him. Kill, easy, taps to miss out, but a spray comes through in the end. And now, yeah, Truth and Dennis go back to save. FORZE finally post their first on the T side.
And look, that takes a bit of pressure off the back. It's always a little bit awkward to get your first round up on the board after a big streak comes out from your opposition. So for FORZE, they can say, right, okay, let's take a bit of a breather. Finally, we've got a round on the board, but we need to make sure we're continuously being able to find impact. We can't just find a round and let APEKS take control again. FORZE up. It all came off the back of the very aggressive play out from that longhouse, finding the opening kill and then leaving FaceCrack as a lurk up towards top mid. And maybe that's something that FORZE need to keep an eye on, Jay, is let's just try and go for aggression, at least in the early round, if we've got some good spawns for long. Because that's probably where they're finding their most amount of impact.
Double up setup here for APEKS. Flashes, smokes down, contact of utility, basis, nades up. Trying to do some damage again from a passive position, but this time APEKS not going to be allowed a kill. Instead, it's Exy swinging up from short, getting Truth down immediately and getting back out of dodge. Lurker towards the mid control as the main execution comes in from long for FORZE. AWP gap in the smoke for Dennis. Re-smoke down may keep him blind here, and indeed it does. Not timing it well enough, can not go for the shot back. Instead, peeks out towards the left-hand side, gets the kill on Exy Power for the first frag. Blind shot does not connect towards another player, and Jerry can take him down with a nade. Last left on the A side is Marcelius with an orb of his own. Sees several popping out the edge of the smoke. Gets us back to 3-on-3, but can't land the headshot on FaceCrack. So site is secure, and Alex and Gross are left to retake.
Working together, both coming in from the short position, and for FORZE, they're playing very passive, not looking to overextend here. No one really peeking. FaceCrack, ooh, just spots down at the right position, and for APEKS, trying to set themselves up for a little bit of utility to try and get this retake going. They do have an incendiary to try and work with. That's going out to the goose position to try and force a player out into the open. M4 not finding anything. FaceCrack finding the return. APEKS can only find one, so the round going the way of FORZE to be able to find a couple in the row. And I'll tell you what, Jay, I still wasn't really impressed from that long take from FORZE. They threw 3 smokes down to the CT cutoff, and there was still a gap in that left-hand side.
A lot of wasted utility there for me. I mean, that might hurt them a little bit. Obviously, the money has to be reinvested too, but you know, like in the later few rounds when APEKS have a chance to reset, you know, having to consistently buy all of these in the next few rounds, the rifles, of course, do come back out. Very hard buy from the CT side. Jerry finds that opening kill. APEKS can trade though, trying to look for Alma's the next up spray through, gets that kill. 4-on-3 situation. And now, FORZE look towards the short play, on towards the A site. The AK is getting recovered here for APEKS. Could pass one back to his teammates, but they got full rifles across this entire defensive board.
That was just a bit of an overextension there coming out from Almeza rather than just holding on to the 4-on-4. Now, utility coming up from FORZE to go for this A bomb site. They can't really fake and go mid to B now with hardly any utility. They're going to leave Flit to go behind to at least be able to catch off one of the rotators from B. This can now open it up, especially with the fact Jerry's chiming in, and they heard that. Dennis would have known exactly that Flit's dropped down.
Needs to get this kill on APEKS now. He's baited in the shot, trying to look for his man. He gets it in hole. Dennis left alone towards mid. Got to find Flit. As Flit made any noise, jumping up towards Xbox. No, he is not. Dennis will swing at the right moment. Could catch him in the back, but he's checking his angles and keeps his head on a swivel here. DT is his next face. Dennis needs to check back short now. He's got to continue keeping his eyes on the back to the AWP closing in. He's been seen. Still the kill comes in for the AWP. 4 points of health for him though. And Exi can capitalize with his AWP. Didn't even need the big green gun, but he'll win it out of a FORZE. This time 4 players going down. A lot of lost investment there for the T side.
I tell you what, if Exi Power wasn't performing the way he is, this scoreline could have looked a lot more awkward, Jay. Yeah, it's only 3 rounds up for FORZE, but he's pretty much keeping them in contention. He's finding so many kills, impactful kills, ones in post plants, wherever it is, he's finding them. 11 kills and 7 deaths up for Exi, and finally, they've been able to reset the money line for the APEKS side. And CT's just stacking up at B, and 4 players over with, you know, a couple of upgraded pistols, a little bit to work with. But for FORZE, at least in the early round, Jay, it looks like they're just going for a standard A split.
Oh, Deagles, CZs, PT50s, USPs, no Kevlar, no utility. APEKS, swing and a miss. As Flick gets that kill instead. They're also pressed down towards the B side. The only A wraparound rotation player been taken out as they storm up the A site. Someone has to go back towards mid and get that bomb under their control. And now the mid facer, we'll see what's going on there on the CT rotation. FaceCrack gets 2. Can't make it a triple, but Flip will clean up the next 2 players. So not too much of a worry there. 4 alive, so FORZE can rebuild their economy state. The reinvestment on that one individual, though, will continue to show the signs of the cracks in the money line here. Rebuy, of course, for APEKS will come through. Contention with the AWP highlighting the main set of the buy.
No money, unfortunately, to go for that double AWP setup onto Dennis as well. We've said a few rounds now that APEKS have gone for the double AWPs on CT. I might have to wait a little bit longer. FaceCrack, very aggressive down mid to start the round off. Now, early utility coming out for the T side out towards long, but they're not contesting it at all. Oh my goodness, if they go into mid to B right now, this is the perfect play. There's only a single defender at B, and no one is even really close to CT. Finally, the rotation's coming in, already too late.
Oh, Jerry's going to burn as well. Double Molotov down with Truth getting the assist on this one. Alma's Dennis trading back and forth, 4-on-3 situation. Smokes down, flashes over. Out towards the A site play. Backed up, pretty passive on towards the tunnels position. They've got to rotate back towards the A site from long because that's their only way in. They've still got players in contention of that angle. Flip will get Marcellus. That might change the complexion of this. They can go back towards the B site because it's completely undefended. FaceCrack can just draw their attention, continue to take fights, continue to find these swings, and double up, potentially on for a 3K. Gross making his way up here, and the reload does take him down, but it's a 1-on-2. The bomb plant can be secured, and Flit is ready to receive.
He's so aggressive. There's no way that Gruss reads this. Close right side corner. Flit, knife. No! Oh, it finally comes in. And we've seen 3 knife kills so far for FORZE across this series. One was a TK, one was in the pistol, and now one coming out from Flit. Oh, I tell you what, my heart was... It was pumping a little bit there because, you know what? If that knife didn't work out, it could have got a little bit awkward.
Oh, boy. That is the kind of confidence booster you want to take as well for FORZE, to get that confidence sort of start. That exit frag of the knife kill, the confidence that it will take away from APEKS and the other side of the board. And of course, with a half bite coming in, they can't really recover off the back of it and put it behind them because kills come in easy for the AWP, but Truth does find a cheeky kill on Jerry back here. Forced on the reload though, back towards the bomb site. Flip will take him down, and now B is once again completely open. Rotations are incoming. FaceCrack there to cut off the mid control. Seeing Dennis next up, spray through, can't take him down. Almas against Marcellus next. Dennis last man, good deagle shot on FaceCrack, but Flip shuts it back.
I tell you what, it's good to see that FORZE have been able to sort of regain this control. And it's very similar. We saw FORZE being able to put up a really great start on sort of their T side of Nuke, but we didn't see a response from APEKS. Now, at least going into Dust 2, we saw APEKS getting up 7-1. They haven't really been able to find too many responses back. The lead that they had is really starting to swindle now. And going for the double AWPs is actually Truth to pick up the secondary AWP rather than Dennis. Fast out towards long with the utility once again from FORZE, and for APEKS, they are still trying to contend.
Marcellus will AWP kill. Gross gets a secondary frag, 5-on-3. APEKS getting flipped next for 2. Almaza and Exi Last player standing. I talked about that confidence and how much it could be deficiting on this CT side, but now they're looking good once again, and FORZE falling apart here for round 14.
Yeah, that was a great shutdown to come out from the APEKS side, and it all really started off from that longhouse position and being able to find a couple of kills. Marcelios finding 2, and not a single player going down. Not even a lot of damage was done to that CT side. And I do see 1 auto sniper. Do I see another, Jay? I don't think they've got money for 2, unless there's another one on the ground. Yeah, it wouldn't make. I don't think, unless they built up a little bit more bank. But yeah, the auto sniper and an AWP. So look, maybe a chance to do a bit of damage.
I'll miss all the bullets daddy towards that mid control. Flashes in. Look at face crack. Look at face crack. He's got his back turned towards the CTs. Kill from Marcelius will come out, take the man down for it. 5-on-4 situation. APEKS again kicking things off on the right foot, but very early in the round. FORZE still maintain some mid presence. The AWP of Truth will try pick it apart though, seeing the next player of Jerry, and gets that second kill. 2 left standing for FORZE, and again APEKS brimming with confidence on their CT half, looking to close it out at 9-6. All they need is 2 more frags.
And we just saw FaceCrack playing anti-flash, just trying to run out from long. He had really hardly any support. The only support was in terms of utility. They get shut down, so immediately they try and go fast into short. They have smokes, but they don't put anything down towards Xbox. Truth finds just the easiest couple of kills. And Flit now may need to try and bring this back. Now, Truth is holding this angle for so long now. He's waiting for Flit to show a better presence. And finally, it's going to come through, but the orb's not going to be able to connect.
Kill for the AK. Flit back turn, evading those bullets, coming in blind against the likes of Gross here. They've got APEKS alone. Gross is looking for those kills. He does find Almas at the top end of the smoke now. Flit's being heard, does find that frag, but an ace clutch for him if he can make this work. 1 versus 3 in the post plum, getting back towards Plat. Molotov's coming in towards the B doors, and a player will rotate as well towards the tunnels position. AK ducks down, now known. They know exactly where this man is, getting out in the open over there, taking a fight here against the likes of Gross next. Back behind cover, AWP faces, kill found. Not quite the second though. Gross will finish off the job, get the defuse in, and get the 9 for APEKS.
Oh, that was pretty impressive coming out from APEKS. I was really happy with their performance in that first half. Maybe they could have been able to pull it a little bit further to maybe like 10 or 11 rounds, but I would still say, even with a 9-6 half on City side, they'll be really happy. They'll at least be pleased that it was a big turnaround in comparison to their last map. And for FORZE, I think there's a couple of players on that T side that were a little bit asleep, I would say, in that first half. It was really only Flit and XePower that were finding the majority of impact. For the rest of them, really struggling in terms of finding opening kills, in terms of trades and things like that, even just like raw kills and how many they were able to put up. So a turnaround needs to come out from the Russians, Jay, now going over to that CT side.
The odds are much more even here, considering APEKS' efforts in that CT camp. Will they follow suit momentum over on the T side? In theory, they should be able to do so, but we've seen many a weird half and many a disadvantageous half and side going the way of the respective forces that take that half. And the pistol round, I think, will set the pace here for FORZE on the defensive. Double flash and defuse for Jerry. Utility on APEKS has already been used up here for the APEKS camp. I should have dropped 2 P250s instead, actually, so maybe that's not exactly a utility play. Either way, Truth will take his Glock towards the face of XePower. Flit does get Truth to return, though. Still hunting for more picks in that mid position. One player is extremely low, so if he gets APEKS next, that will overwhelm the entire A site here. All face crack now on the defensive, directly on site. Sees one player popping up as soon as he head. We'll see 2 more players coming through. A good flash to try and see if he can frag back, but Gross gets 2 kills in return alongside Almazer, and Flit. The full face crack goes down. Jerry last man standing. 1 headshot found, but finding 2 more swinging at the same case. It's going to be a 10th on the board for APEKS' pistol.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that was really nice pistol round coming out from APEKS. It was very aggressive, it was very fast, and we saw some really great kills coming out. Gruss in particular really been showing up for this APEKS side, both in the first map and in the second. Already being able to, I think he got, what, like 13 kills? He was like the MVP, at least like the highest fragging for that nuke game. Already on 17, so a much better performance on Dust 2 so far. And looking to try and see if he can take that even further. Great shot coming out from Marcelios. And the force buy for FORZE has not started off fantastically.
Was rifles versus 4-sport pistols, and you would expect most of it to go pretty well for APEKS. Of course, that first frag found. Scout set for Jerry, hoping to pick up some players here towards the short control. And to be fair, we have seen FORZE use these scouts with great effect. No headshot found early on, though. 20 points of health for Jerry is going to get tagged up and forced back.
And they're stacking up this A bomb site. They're trying to go for a bit of a gamble stack, and at least it looks like it's probably going to pay off. At least in the fact that the T side look like they're going to go towards this A bomb site. Whether it works in terms of the kills, we'll have to wait and see. The scout shot not quite heading from Flit, and now so many advantages have come through. APEKS should get the read that there's a bit of a stack going on.
Second kill as well. Flit falls, sees their next too close for comfort, and there goes the kill for APEKS instead. APEKS 11 to the board. Imagining a rebuy coming through from FORZE, who's set for the next round, not in this one. Eco set. USPs at basics. A little bit of investment for, I believe, utility and upgrade pistols on PT-50s, but nothing major for these guys.
APEKS are really starting to put the hurt on in terms of pressure. Are looking to try and go up 12-6, see if they can extend that lead even further. Even going into the B bomb site, if they walk out, Jay, they will find this completely open. And that's what they're doing. They are walking in to a very, very open B bomb site. The stack out from long is going to go, hang on a minute, we didn't see anything. Now we've heard utility at B. We have misread the situation here.
Plant down. FORZE up.
It's out again.
Yeah, fairly passive against the PP Bison and Marcelius coming in. Reads that position well against FaceCrack. Gets that frag. But nothing else going to come through from the CT side, it seems. Neither of the T side, I mean, APEKS. Oh, actually, Jerry could catch cross if he's not careful. It's only a Mac 10 falling, but still. Kevlar and utility you have to reinvest into if he had any of it. Dennis next to face, grabbing that Bison and facing forward with it. I don't know why it is they love passing out this Bison to players. And they do actually end up losing players for it as well. 3-on-2. They grab an AK? Yes, they did. Flit gets away with a big, big weapon for the FORZE camp on the buy round as well.
Yeah, I don't really see why they need to go hunting there. The fact of the matter is it's just a very low investment round, and they lost quite a lot for it in the sense of how many players go down on the T side, and that Flit was able to pick up an AK. So FORZE could be very happy with what they accomplished there. And bringing double AWPs into Flit and Exi Power, chucking that AK over to Jerry. APEKS looking to see if they can continue their lead, keep putting the pressure on the board, going into the first gun round of the second half. A fast play out towards the lower tunnels to try and gain this mid control. Not really anything out towards mid. And Flit's playing quite deep and bringing that second player over. Oh, that was a very, very small opportunity there.
And flashes over, face crack. Body block and a smoke is going to force Dennis to peek forward, and face crack will punish him for it. Killing the man, 5-on-4. Way through from Gross next. To force Exi Power off angle. No kill for him though. Almaza can back him up, take out Akez. Next face crack still watching for the mid door control, but they're leaning in from short. Want to go towards this A site. No split contention. They've got plenty of CTs to deal with here.
Exi is low, so potentially if they get the flashbang timed right, then they can try and force him off angle and force that trade through to at least plant for that short position. FORZE a very fast split on the defensive hold. APEKS taking their time. Boost over the smoke, still not seeing anything.
Upset. Good shot on Marcelius. 16 points of health. Truth gets face cracked next 4-on-3 situation. The bomb plant will be received, so FORZE up for a retake. They are at the man advantage. The APEKS to sneak into this bomb site after the defensive that was held. That's pretty impressive already at the start.
APEKS looking for a little bit more though, and even trying to get back to short is going to be a difficult time. They're kind of stuck out into the open, but they are still finding kills, Jay. But it looks like it's finally going to be the cleanup crew to come out. Truth, there's just nothing he can do here. Save onto this AK. Not really too many options. The bomb certainly not planted for him out from mid. FORZE are getting that retake together. Truth is going to be able to at least bring one weapon forward, but that's more like it from FORZE. And it all really came down to finding those opening kills. Not really any advantages being held up for that APEKS side in that last round. And they're going to take a tactical pause, Jay. Haven't really seen a lot from APEKS in this series. I would say in terms of like all of them added up, I would think that FORZE should have taken more. But APEKS probably realized the importance of being able to reset this economy instantly.
With the damage coming through, you can imagine that's a possibility. And both sides are going to heavily invest into this one. You'll see exactly how much money will be left in the reserves. Full rifles and utility sets for APEKS. A couple of players down on Galil's for that T side. Meanwhile, double op setup comes in from Flit and Exi, but at the cost of an SMG for FaceCrack, also with full sets of utility. So hundreds of dollars for the low rollers of their respective sides. 1900 for Gross as the highest player over on APEKS. 2850 for Armazer in his saving accounts. Only thanks to the AK that was saved from the last round prior to that, so no need to invest into that weapon. Could have been a very different story if everyone went down. For now, it's the AWP in against Gross. 4 points of health for the leg shots. No second chance at a warbang, no lucky kill. FaceCrack will just aggress here and expect this man to peek forward, and if he does, that's an easy frag for the SMG.
CTs are focusing hardly any attention towards long. It's really been about the short and mid take where they're focusing most of their eyes. And for APEKS, obviously they won't know this information, but the long take will come out really easily for them once they go for it. A FaceCrack just trying to play anti-flash out from mid. Jerry with that AK as well, waiting for a flashbang to come out. More damage done just in terms of utility. Gruss though, Jerry's not taking the angle. How can you not be checking that?
Oh, he doubles up as well. Flit fragged out, 5 on 3. FaceCrack moving in with the SMG, seeing where Dennis is, but doesn't get his frag. Incendiary back, FaceCrack backing up to the mid position. Looking towards the AK, or the Galil, I should say, of APEKS. He still gets the frag for it. FORZE are overwhelmed by APEKS off the back of the tactical. Right back in with control, right back in with a 13th.
Now, that's disappointing for the FORZE side. They look to try and get a bit of aggressive around short. Didn't check that close angle to the left, and Gruss, as soon as he finds that first kill, he waits for the overextension of the teammate, gets away with 2, and from there, that round's pretty much done. APEKS is waiting towards the top of mid, waiting for any kind of pressure to come out. That's exactly what happens. And FORZE just have to save, and that was something that I said at the end of the last round, Jay, is the fact if APEKS can be able to put the response back on, they'll instantly reset their opponents. This is a very, very awkward situation now for the Russians. I don't know how you come back from a situation like this. AWP and AK saved in from Almazer and Exi. Now, Almazer can drop a secondary AWP onto Flit, Exi can drop an M4, and one of the teammates can buy themselves. But it's going to look a little bit awkward. They actually just go for the M4s rather than that secondary AWP.
This is a do or die round for FORZE. They lose this, they probably concede map point to APEKS, and look at APEKS straight out taking FaceCrack. Exi with the AWP. Nades up towards the long position. A minute and 30 as the T's continue to hold this long progression. 4 players total between the long pit and house. Exi forced back. Oh, sees one of the edge of the smoke, gets that frag to return. Okay, FORZE now with a big chance of this one, but can they follow suit with the man advantage?
Now, Marcelius needs to be able to find some impact in this pit position, whether he tries to sort of wide swing or slow walk into that AWP towards that car position of Exi. And there's the response, at least, that the T's were looking for. Jerry, though, and now Exi's in the open, and he can't escape back. It's all down to Jerry.
Marcelius with the body, the corpse of his teammate as cover. And the AWP shot cannot land. 1 on 3 for Jerry. Finds 1 kill. Looks back in for more, but Truth will shut him down. And every time FORZE try and get a stance back in these rounds, APEKS respond with confidence. And the question I'm asking here is, where was this APEKS on Nuke? It's looked damn good here on Dust 2 when FORZE were expected just to outpace and outfrag the opposition side. Now within double of the scoreline of FORZE, a half bite got to come through from the CT side because APEKS destroyed the economy basis. They're one away from that point.
And I just don't understand how we're now looking at seeing a potential of both teams winning out each other's map pick in a very convincing fashion. FORZE are really not bringing much into round 22, realizing the fact they want to get those rifles up into the following. APEKS has taken a fair bit of damage. Very aggressive out from the CTs in this long position. And Marcelios just keeps trying to fall back.
Frag's easy. Face crack down. Jerry low. Incendiaries, Flit and Almas are trying to find a way in to try and shut down some T-side players on this A-side presence. Plant towards short can come through. Flit not going for the Kelly. Smoke down, P250 facing away at the worst moment. He does see Truth in the end. Tag him up, take him down. That's a frag to find. He's Gruss next, no. Shot to shut him down. 4-on-3, long control being contested by the AK. The Deagle pulls distraction though, takes that frag back. Then it's frags on towards 2. And the Pistols, well, they did have a couple of moments there. They weren't able to secure the round. Map point, game by APEKS 15-7.
Looking much better for the Norwegian camp. APEKS really putting up a stellar performance so far in Dust 2, but they've still got another hurdle to cross. It is going to be quite a small one. It's only a singular round. A good utility, or good economy, I should say, though, coming out from FORZE to get a very strong buy going into round 23 and going for that secondary AWP on a Flit. Now, APEKS, they've given themselves a bit of breathing room. They've got, what, 8 rounds to play with. You certainly don't want to have that mentality of sort of saying, oh, you know, we can lose a few, we'll close it out. You want to be trying to close it out as soon as possible. But they do have at least a few rounds to fall back on if it starts getting awkward, Jay.
Double op set up here for FORZE. Aggression coming in from the tunnels already for APEKS. They've got Almas ready to receive them outside of the tunnel's face. And nades on towards him will do similar amounts of damage that Marcelius took early on in the round. So for APEKS, it's just mid control, tunnels control. Flashes in from FORZE will allow them to take short control, but not seeing anything from the T-side contact yet.
FORZE are going for a bit of a dual setup out from that short position. Maybe see if they can get aggressive, especially with a flashbang. And not a great amount of utility up for that CT side. There's only flashbangs for them to work with. APEKS have done a really good job of trying to bait a lot of this out. Really slowing down the clock. Nothing aggressive to come out from FORZE, even with a round where they don't have much to work with in terms of the utility standpoint. They're still playing really passive.
Smokes up, flashes over. Jerry with the M4 set. APEKS, bomb on his back, smokes down from Gross. Molotov set towards the A site. Facecrack is waiting as APEKS comes up with the opening kill. Flit can trade it. 25 seconds remaining to the clock, though. This backstab could be everything. The bomb's been dropped in middle, though, so they've got to get these 2 players down. Anytime stalling could be crucial for the CT camp. Almaza gets only 1 pick for his trouble. Bomb's still out there, though.
They've got to get it.
Moving. They've got to get it. The CT there ready to receive. If Facecrack takes him down, they're going to be able to do it. Marcelius suppressed. Facecrack's going to stay alive, but he continues fighting. And that's the mistake that costs them. FORZE will be forced to map 3 against APEKS, 16-7 on Dust 2. Oh, disaster for the Russian camp.
It really was. Even that last round just looked just crazy. Dropping that bomb, realizing the fact they don't really need to take fights because there's no way that bomb's going to get to the bomb site in time. And Jay, I don't know. Do you just say like online CS? Like I don't know. The fact that we've seen both teams take each other's map picks in such a convincing fashion. It's been a bit of a weird one this series. The fact that FORZE, it seemed like they just turned off. Like, they really did not look anywhere near convincing like they did on that T side of Nuke. And for APEKS, they showed up. Yeah, the early stages came off the back of a few clutches from Grass, but they got that 7-0 start, and they just looked in complete control that entire second map.
Exactly, and that's why it's a little bit, surprising to me to see that whole thing come out. 2-16-7s going the opposite ways.
Yeah.
It's just like it indicates that teams are getting complacent, that they're probably not as consistent today as they would have wanted to be. I would have thought Forza had this wrapped up. I think a lot of us had Forza wrapped up very early on in the series. In terms of before this map, we thought, yeah, this is going to be them cleaning up. But no, things have turned around from APEKS, and most importantly, you can see that in the change towards Gross. Much better by comparison to his first map in this series, where we got 12 kills, now up to
Something
35
like that, yeah.
total in this series. I mean, these are series stats, we also adds those up together, but that means that we're looking at about 23 frags over the course of a little over 23 rounds.
Yeah, look, I certainly think the Gross had a standout performance. He won, like I said, 3 clutches, and he looked incredibly solid. So, look, I'm really keen going forward into Mirage. Again, though, it's like, how do we even predict what's going on here? As soon as we see what happened on Nuke, we go, right, this should be a simple 2-0 for the Forza camp, and then we're completely bamboozled. So, I reckon this third map is going to be a bit of an interesting one, Jay.
Indeed, it could well be. It's Mirage. It's our final map in this pool map that both these teams have played on it in the past. Forza were able to take this map above them in the last series at 16-13. I'm not sure whether that'll be the same repeated result here, but we'll go to a break and find out whether they can close out a series that should rightfully be theirs. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this very short break. Welcome to the third map of our series between Forza and APEKS. If you're just joining us, you saw two 16-7 results going the ways of Forza and APEKS respectively. Forza on APEKS' map picks, APEKS on Forza's map pick. That leads us to Mirage, the final map in our best of three series. Seeming to be a fitting conclusion as well, considering the last series also concluded over on Mirage, Dweg. Let's talk about this one a little bit, because it definitely feels like both teams got complacent in their respective map picks, and that led to the other team punishing them very significantly here.
Yeah, look, it's certainly been a bit of a wild one for the first couple of maps of this series. Certainly unexpected from both teams, but I feel as if going into the third map, both teams would probably be... I don't know, like, it's difficult to carry over what happened on Nuke and Dust 2 into Mirage, especially for the APEKS side, considering some of their rough results they've had. They've only been able to win it 4 times out of the last 14 times that they've played it in the last 3 months. So for APEKS, yeah, some of them have been close. They've played at least Mirage a hell of a lot over the course of the cups that they've played in Malta Vibes. But again, it's still not a fantastic map for them. But at the same time, Jay, how much does, oh, this map's good for us, oh, this map isn't good for us, how much does that come into this last map? Because, like, what even happened in map 1 and map 2? It's like, it was 2 completely different teams in both individual maps.
Well, like I said, I think that they just got really complacent over on the Forza side for Dust 2. The fact that they got such an easy win over on Nuke, and we're just like, yeah, we can take this pretty effectively. And they just sort of ran into a lot of the basic sort of setups of the APEKS side. Now, if they're going to go ahead and take that same sort of play into this one, then I could see a way in for APEKS to be able to steal it away. Because Forza did win the last time they played against each other on Mirage. That was a 16-13 result. Only a few rounds separated win and loss between these two sides. So Forza just need to make sure that they hold on. You know, that's all they need to do. Just hold on, play your standard sort of game. You know, play the game that you know you can be confident at on a map like Mirage that, you know, favors your playstyle as well. Like for Forza, on paper, this should be a walk in the park, assuming they're just playing to their right sort of formation.
It should be, on paper, yeah, because the last 9 maps that they played at Mirage, they've only lost it once, and that was against OG, where they even went to a 14-16 loss. They've taken wins over MIBR, Complexity, Fate, Harvu, Level Up, you know, even that APEKS side back in week 6, SG Pro 2. So, look, they have had a really decent time on this map pick, or on this map, I should say, for the third one of the series of Mirage. But again, I still don't know how much on paper performance comes through onto the server today. And I'm just hoping that we get to see a really exciting last map, because really, I don't want to say the first 2 maps have been boring, but they haven't been competitive, have they? You know, 16-7 and 16-7, it hasn't been close by any stretch.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. Like, it just, like, it's not been like a case that it was like, oh, close on the first half, dominant on the second half. It was just dominant from the word go, essentially, for both of the maps. So, like, it's not an encouraging sign, again, for both sides to sort of be in that sort of unconfident position, especially for Forza that are coming fresh off the back of a map they should have ideally won. Going into this map, I think there's a map that they should also win in this one, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. I'm still predicting Forza, because I think that they'll be able to get themselves back together, Dweg. So as we go to the 9th round, we get the chance to remind you all that Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Dweg, predictions on this last map, how do you feel?
Yeah, look, it should still be a Forza 2-1. I just don't see APEKS being able to take it on Mirage. Maybe if it was on an overpass, then maybe it could have floated through. But yeah, look, I just don't see there being a way back in for the APEKS side. I'm hoping that there is. I'm hoping that they're able to put up a bit of a contest. But if Forza could play their own game, if they put aside what happened in that second map and play the way we've seen them play previously on Mirage, this should be a walk in the park for them.
Well, the key word there is should. If APEKS can carry over what they had on the CT side of Dust 2 into the CT side of this map, then we could be seeing a very different set of circumstances. And what an upset it would be for APEKS to look into the next round and beat out Forza in doing so. It's the pistol round coming up live here on our final map of this best of 3. Defuse kit for APEKS with the smoke set. The utility still yet to come from the T side, but the odds have come in from our partners at Loot Bet. You can see 3.15 favoring the Forza side against the likes of APEKS means that they're going to be definitely not the favorites to win out on this one. We'll find out whether they can do it. If you want to take advantage of the odds you just saw on screen, it's Loot Bet. Get up to 10 free CSGO spins and up to 100 euros bonus deposit. Let's go for one. Dennis tapping through towards the mid control. Almaza Truth trading back and forth. Almaza doubles up in the end towards the mid control. Jerry sees 2, but drops that bomb. APEKS still facing to try and hold control. Gross comes up on face crack, deals with him, and flits on 4 HP as Almaza goes down next. Marcelius in there with his triple, and a first on the board for APEKS.
One thing we saw for Forza when they took on MIBR is a lot of contest on their T side out from mid, and that's exactly what we saw in the pistol round. A lot of chaotic duels coming out from Forza and APEKS, just all swinging out from mid. So many duels going around to that connector face, and for APEKS, they won out some really great duels. The USPs hit some really great shots, and Forza just weren't even really able to open up mid off the back of a lot of contest and a lot of swinging CTs. A no bomb plan. Not a lot of kills, man. It's just going to be Glocks, maybe a waterfall out to this A bomb side to try and get a plant, but that's really their only options.
AUGs, FAMASes, SMGs, face crack down in towards Dark Truth, holds that frag, burst up. Oh, they run right into his headshot, so Dennis can clean up 2 more frags of his own right, and the last player left. Actually, just need the bomb plant in, so for the eco, not too terrible for Forza. 2-0 start for APEKS, and the buyer can come through confident for round 3.
Not bad. You know, considering that you really just had Glocks, a bomb plant is actually very successful. And APEKS, well, they were just really passive on it. You saw Truth being able to find a lot with that FAMAS, but he was being very, very passive, so allowing that bomb plant to go through. A little bit of extra money. And that extra bit of money, Jay, is even going to allow an AWP. So actually, Power can be really pleased that he's able to get the big green gun going into round 3. And not the best of buys for APEKS, though. There is still that MP9 in the playing field. A couple of AUGs and some FAMASes. Surprising to see a couple of AUGs. Don't really see too many of those anymore. Kind of similar to the Krieg. You don't see too many AUGs out, but APEKS want to try and bring them into round 3. And again, going for a very similar setup as what they did in that last round is being quite passive on the A bomb side. But there are a lot of players here on the CT side.
Marcelius going to be backed up by APEKS. Both players combined to get 2 kills. Truth comes up on Flit as the execution from Forza just gets shut down. But at the same time, it was pretty half-hearted from the T side. Exy and Jerry backing up here to try and work in from a different angle. They've got a bomb under their control. This round is already over.
Yeah, look, I tell you what, that looked a bit awkward there from Forza. It was kind of like a dry run, but not everyone was there. There was only a few players going. And for APEKS, as soon as you've got 4 players on the A-bomb site and Forza just kind of walk out from ramp, it's just an absolute slaughter. And Truth goes down, but so do 3 players from Forza. Even APEKS getting aggressive out from ramp is able to deal with Jerry. So Xy's the last one left. He can't find anything with the AWP. And I tell you what, Jay, now we have seen the same sort of similarities over the course of the 2 maps in the series, is that it hasn't really been a contest from the start. You know, one thing you mentioned is that it's always been one team in control for the majority of the map. And at least on Mirage, it seems like we've got a very similar standpoint that APEKS are getting off to a good start. They've won out the first gun round. They're up 3-0. They're only dealing with a half buy. They should go up 4-0. So we need to really start to see Forza getting involved, getting some rounds back on the board, because they can't let this momentum continue.
That is not encouraging for Forza, though. If we're seeing how the patterns have worked out over the course of this series, and Mirage is going to be no different to those patterns, then we could be seeing another dominant affair for APEKS to shut Forza out in another top 8 position. Gruss, 2 frags towards the mid-control, 4-on-2 with Marcellus getting involved. Dennis jumps in with a kill. Jerry can take out him and Truth, but not Gruss. 3k in the end for the AK. Damage being done to the CT9, but they get the 2 AK-47s out for the full rifles by upcoming in max loss bonus for Forza, so AWPs come back out. Rebuy from APEKS should limit the economy state a little bit.
I haven't really seen anything over to the B bomb site yet from Forza. It's been pretty heavy sort of presence out towards A little bit from mid. So something that APEKS can keep in mind is maybe trying to go for like a deep BAP smoke and trying to take some control over at B just to kind of change things up a little bit on that CT side. A heavy mid control to come out from Forza and a little bit of B presence. Nothing out from Palace or Ramp. Truth is very aggressive, and straight away he is seeing absolutely no information through mid. The T's have not pushed forward.
Flash in, AUG, spray through, takes face crack, backs up. A 4-on-4 situation. AK's moving in, Almaza set and ready against Akez next. Smokes will start to clear in a moment. Will he see him first? Yes, he will. Small outline just being gained by the T-side player, overwhelming the B-side defensive as well, because he's the only player that they had. XC Power ready to cut off Truth in the market area and everything. So much more coordinated and concise from Forza. Confidence now back on the T-side board. Will they keep it in the future rounds is the new question here.
We see, at least for APEKS, oh, hang on a minute. This is a 2-on-2. They actually might try and go for this, Jay. They look like they were just looking for exit kills, but now it's a 2-on-2 with a couple of kids. They might as well at least try their luck here.
God, no, they won't do this. 4-on-2 situation. Nade smokes up, Jerry shuts down Dennis, and that will force Marcelius to save. Okay, good call from him. But you could see things were going south. They were slowly going south there for the FORZE camp. And I asked if they were going to keep the confidence going into future rounds. Well, they lost the confidence in the midst of that round there in the post-plant position. 2 players left alive, 1 player left alive. Yes, they do take out all weapons on the APEKS side, but they can reinvest. And with the money lost from FORZE, they could be reset.
I'll tell you what, actually did a really good job in that round. Obviously, finding that opening pick from Con, then trying to back up the players, trying to execute out towards B, dealing with the market entrance. But yeah, look, it did get a little bit awkward there from FORZE. It felt like even with that 4-on-2, they were still looking at taking fights rather than just playing passive into the side, and did hurt their economy a fair bit. They are still going to be able to buy into the next round, obviously. A fast play up through connector with the AWP. There's a player stuck out from mid. Oh, he is very lucky. I'm not sure who that was with the rifle. I think it might have been Dennis. Very lucky to be able to escape there.
Unscathed and everything, Marcelius is the man to take the frag instead, refacing against Flit, who's yet to find a kill so far in this game. 006 so far on his board. Secret agent sneaking up on him for round 7. Marcelius boost up with the AWP. Almaz takes him down. Looks for APEKS next. Doubles up to open up the B site somewhat. The bomb planter here trying to face him with Jerry. Dennis gets the kill on face crack towards short. Exy Power can respond. 2-on-2. Jerry gets truth next towards 1 now of Gross. AUG, no kit on him. Incendiary and HE going to catch Jerry in the open, but could not get the frags for his trouble. And therefore it is 2 into the T side board.
Okay, now this is something we haven't seen, Jay, is an early contention. We're now off the standpoint where FORZE are maybe looking to see if they can tie up the scoreline. There shouldn't be a forced investment here. It should just be USPs because Moneyline's looking pretty awkward for APEKS. I try and get that buy up going into round 8. Even a Mac 10 up for FaceCrack to see if he can farm up a little bit of money. APEKS, just making sure that in a round like this, you know, you're trying to do as much damage to the T side as possible. If they can find 1 or 2 kills, I think they'll be satisfied. Obviously, a round victory is something that certainly is not on the cards here with the lack of investment. And complete mid control for the Ts. A lot of options for FORZE to work with.
Ideally, if they can take the option to get FaceCrack in and get these kills, then they'll just bolster the economy state and keep the money in check. Look at how far Dennis is pushed up, though, here. We'll get truth on the site. The P250 hearing those footsteps. AWP should see him, take him down. And the USP does get 1 frag. Gross times in with a secondary kill. AK dealt with. Gross trying to look for a 3rd pick back, keep the economy state limited, and he got real close with Almaz, but was unable to get the kill. So AK saved, AWP staying in. Rebuy coming in from APEKS. Now FORZE are within 1 of the lead.
That's not bad. 2 kills, almost a 3rd with a round that was pretty much just USPs. They can be really happy with that. And, well, happy, you can have a bit of happiness opening up these sick cases from our great partners of Hellcase.com, Malta-V and Malta-V15. A couple of codes for you guys to use. Get a little bit of cash in your account, a 15% refill bonus. Open up some amazing cases from all different price ranges and get the opportunity of opening up some sick skins. And FORZE, though, they are trying to look of opening up an opportunity to start to take a lead here, going for what looks to be a bit of a fake on a set piece towards the A bomb site, at least in trying to show a little bit of information, but not continuing with anything towards A.
M4 of Truth will peek out of A into connector, look downstairs to the underpass position. Marcelius with the AUG set towards short, and Akez with the M4. Almaz here in the apartments. A minute to the clock, and FORZE setting up some utility here towards the A play. Going to try Solomon, potentially a fake out. Flashbangs don't keep Gross blind. The second flash will come through, though. Are they going to fall for this? Apparently not. They will swing towards mid, though, and FaceCrack will find that kill, but they've also seen where the bomb is. Flit doubles up on Truth, takes it to a 5-on-3, and wraparounds towards the apartments, or towards the ramp position. No, as Almaz falls, they're going to go towards A.
Yeah, look, as soon as Almaz goes down there, they go, right, we have to bring this bomb to A. If Almaz gets a kill, then they go B, but if not, they go A. Now, Gruss is still onto the site around this default boxes. He's got to come up absolutely huge because those rotations are going to come in so damn slowly for these APEKS side. No one is even close to this A bomb side. He's at least got to find a couple of kills.
There's a lot of utility coming out, knows that they're going to be coming in right now. Still waits back default, sees face crack, does damage, no frag. APEKS and Dennis moving in from CT and Connector. They will catch off the AWP, but XC Power's got the angle unlocked, takes APEKS down. Dennis goes next, and FORZE back in with confidence at 4-4 on the T-side board.
Okay. That was much better from the FORZE camp. Now, they're a side, Jay, that really like to run down the clock on these defaults when they've got lurkers. So what we saw there is putting Almeza towards that B site. If he finds a kill, then great, we'll go B. If not, we'll go A. And that's one thing that APEKS can sort of get a bit of a read on in how FORZE play, is that when they have opening man advantages, they love to be able to get those lurk setups up, catching off rotations, being able to pull out rotations with fakes. APEKS, unfortunately, taking the gamble over towards B doesn't pay off. Oh, this is very aggressive, though, in the apartments, and I don't think those footsteps would have been heard from Almeza. Well, that would have been seen, though.
Spray through. Damage being done to both respective sides. Can't find the frags as of right now, that they will suppress APEKS into the corner. 4 points of health, though. Molotov's going to burn him. He's dead. He's dead. Good effort there, but just not to be. The utility base is going to open up the round for FORZE.
There was so much util coming out to that position. There was no way that APEKS was going to be able to do anything. And Marcelios has now got aggressive, but what does he do with this? Does he continue? Does he just stay here? APEKS starting to make a bit of presence over towards B, but for FORZE backing off into this A bomb side. Now, they've still got so much utility, they can just go for some standard stock set smokes.
Set piece into the A site through 2 players there to defend against it. Sprays through as the Deagle's up, Gross goes down. Dennis still held towards Sandwich. Going to be playing very carefully around this. Got the bomb to face up. Does get that kill on one, but Almeza quickly trades it. Truth for Marcel. Last 2 players left. And Truth trying to get some sort of shot in, but can't make it happen. Marcellus in the backstab. Coming through. Might catch the bomb planter of Flit here. 15 seconds, actually. If he times this right, going to plant closed. C now burst through. We'll get forced back, and what could have been a great chance if they planted open for Sandwich. Could have been the way in, but not to be. 5th to the board of FORZE. APEKS now up for the buy.
Yeah, that was in the back of my mind, is if they plant like triple, if they plant open for connector or jungle, then that could have got awkward. But they plant safe, so the CZ's not able to do anything. And FORZE now with 5 rounds in a row, I'm going to be able to take the lead going into this last map of the series. APEKS need to be able to find a response here, need to be able to at least siphon some control back. They're setting themselves up for a very heavy A play to come out. Only a single defender of APEKS at this B bomb site.
Truth opening things up on Flit. APEKS opening up the kill counts there towards the mid position, but on towards the A site. Execution is where they'll go. Almeza comes up with 2. Face crack gets Gross next, and a 4-on-2. As the entire defensive just gets overwhelmed and destroyed here. Bomb plant, not yet secured here. X is going to cover off the positions. Make sure the CT is suppressed. Ake should be seen by the T's in a moment's time. Sees the swing out. X now has info. Hold the angle as Jerry swings wide. Gets that frag with the AK. And only player to get a kill for the CT side is Truth over on the APEKS camp. And this is going to have to be another eco coming in a half by that best for the CT side.
One thing that APEKS didn't realize there was how far Facecrack has been able to push up. Yeah, we see Flit going down at mid to find the opening man advantage for APEKS for Truth, but Facecrack was able to somehow sneak his way out from ramp, get into Sandwich. So as soon as the ramp players pull a distraction and try and force the CTs into trying to make some peaks, that's really where it can start to come into his own and open up the bomb site. A continuation of rounds now from FORZE, looking to try and go 7 in a row.
AK set, takes Marcelius down, taps up from Facecrack, does see a player crossing. Flit gets the kill on Truth, 25 HP for Facecrack though, ding down. Dennis eventually turns that Deagle into a kill, and APEKS now left towards the B defense. We've got 1 player close, a good drive-by shot, turns back towards Jerry, but doesn't land the flick. And now Dennis next facing here with his own Deagle, backstab from Gross is very, very slow. Jerry does overextend, almost give up his life, but not quite here. 3-on-2, FORZE should defend here in the post plant.
You'd have to expect from APEKS. Maybe see if you can get a couple of exit kills. They won't be able to find too much, you would expect. There is an AK for Dennis. That was that kill onto Flit into the bottom of connector, so they get away with the rifle. Now Grass is looking for one himself. Ooh, damage. Good damage onto Face Crack and Jerry. Oh, even the spam. That was nice from Jerry. You don't see that all too often.
Timed it well, heard the footsteps.
Yeah, nicely.
And all that remains is Dennis with the AK. Here in connector holding on. 2 other players fall to the bomb explosion, actually, so FORZE lose quite a lot in that. It would have mattered more if they weren't on 16k for several players, so, you know, money is bolstered for this FORZE camp. And, you know, winning 7 rounds in a row would do that to a team.
Yeah. And we've been no stranger to the double orbs. We've seen it a fair bit, especially on that last map. And Truth and Marcelios trying to see if they can find some impact. I tell you what, it's not even Exy that's been able to be a big performer so far on Mirage. It's just been his teammates. The Riflers have been able to come up massive so far. A big opening kill from Marcelios. But how has Flit been able to sneak through connector? Oh, Exy. We don't like to see that.
Smoke eventually goes down from APEKS. Dennis comes up with
What?
2 picks. And that is a clean-up round from the CTs. Yes, Flit didn't manage to sneak his way in towards connector, but it did not matter. The main defensive force just overwhelms the T side.
I just don't even know what happened in that round. We just saw Dennis getting aggressive out from ramp, a couple of easy kills. That big play that Flip was able to sort of get into connector completely unseen, completely silent, and doesn't even work out because he's got no teammates to pull distractions from. Wow, that was a big turnaround from APEKS, and that could be their opportunity to really start to dig some rounds on the CT side. Haven't really seen too much of a mid contention coming out from APEKS or FORZE. It's really been around this A bomb site for the most part. And FORZE just normally leaving a lurker or 2 out from mid and using a bit of early utility towards this A bomb site. Just going for a set piece once again.
Open from Marcelius will try to defend against them. Incendiary's down, flashes are ready for Almaza. Flash over, Face Crack and Gross get the opening 2 kills. Trades back and forth between FORZE and APEKS. Molotov's in, Truth still holding with the AWP, trying to catch Jerry off towards the Palace face. Gross is here towards stairs, raring to receive someone, but so far seeing nothing. FORZE are going very quiet despite their immense presence here. Well, towards the A site, eventually they should just go for the hit out.
They need to get Exy Power involved. He's going to be able to lurk out to the B bomb site. He can call it's open, but what can they do with it? APEKS is now getting behind them on the A bomb site. They need to get a move on here.
This could be real interesting. If they opt to rotate, I mean, I don't think they will because they're so far pushed up at this stage.
Yeah, they just can't rotate physically. They'll have to wait for Exy to backstab.
Or to draw some attention on the rotations, but APEKS is on a backstab of his own. They are keeping their eyes on this position, but as soon as he sees that bomb, it's going to be massive. Footsteps being held by Exy. They're going to hear it. Or focusing in, scoping up on Dennis. Will Dennis get the kill? Will APEKS get the pick back of his own right? Simultaneous frags to come through. Catches Flit. Almaza trades. Dennis trades Exy back 3 on 2. They've seen the bomb. They've got to get a player here towards stairs. Almaza turns onto the jungle area. Nade on 22 HP for the man. Needs this kill. But Gross comes up good with 3 frags to his name. And a clutch here for the APEKS side.
Unfortunately for FORZE, they put too much contention in that backstab. They go, right, we're not going to make a move until Exy Power finds something. And as soon as he's heard from Dennis, that round's done because FORZE are just trapped in Tetris. There's not really much they can do. They needed more assistance from that backstab, and it didn't come through. That was a really nice position from Dennis. I believe that he was just trying to wait for the like boost into window to try and catch off some info, and ends up hearing Exy from B. A great round from APEKS. A strong buy coming out from both teams. Going into round 14, can we see the tie-up from APEKS to get to 7-7? And no mid control from both teams. The mid is completely open.
FORZE are expecting APEKS to go aggressive here. You can see these common triple crossfire setups. Ready for the CTs to face up from the short entrance or towards the stack position, but footsteps will be heard, I assume, by Gross. Smoke down as he tries to keep him suppressed and backs up here with another smoke out towards the Palace position. They know something's going on here towards the A site.
Flit, I'm seeing if he can find anything behind this short smoke. Oh, HE doing a fair bit on damage onto Almaze. So set smokes once again to this A bomb site. The follow-up incendiary. Gruss is looking to overextend.
Takes the frag, doubles up as well with the AK. Set towards ramp, rotations are thick and fast. Flit's going to try and cut off rotations from the CT camp meanwhile. Player on short may look towards connector, but he's also going to hear these footsteps, and they've got Marcelius head on a swivel with the AWP. Now watching out the apartments. X is going to try to challenge it. Truth will go down to the hands of Flit, and Aka's here. Orba Marcelius drops face crack. X is still watching, seeing that bomb, getting it picked up. Oh, what a quick scope! 2-on-2, backstab in. Marcelius going to try and hunt for the bomb partner. He can't quite find him. Flit's down. X is low. The Orb needs to get these kills thick and fast, and he's sneaking around. No info gain by the CT. Cap gets the quick scope on for a clutch. Cross for a 4K. Meanwhile, his 8K will land the kill and keep it held together for APEKS.
Oh, you believed. You believed for a minute there that XE power was going to go up absolutely massive. We have seen just a phenomenal amount of clutches today in this series from Gruss. 4 kills in the round. Picks up the AWP. Oh my, what a huge round from APEKS. And I'll tell you what, Jay, I'm really glad that this first half for Mirage is delivering. Yeah, maybe the rounds haven't been so far as sort of like back and forward, but we're getting to a scoreline that's 7-7. And it seems like for the majority of this series, it's all come off streaks of rounds, being able to build up momentum and get a majority amount of rounds in a row.
Marcelius in, quick AWP shot. Quick rotation back to the A site. Face crack first to fall. The T side leaning in towards the apartments. Could be a fast play out of the B site. Limited utility, so can't go for a set piece. Can flash and smoke their way in though. All down to timing and decisions here. XE power downstairs. Alongside Flit in the mid control, does provide some options here for FORZE. Will they try and rotate back towards the A site? No, they'll kill off Akes. Dennis set towards short. Split could come through and try and see if they can cut off rotations of these two players in towards the A site play. Truth gets dealt with by Flit. Dennis still bursting through. Seeing arms that Jerry swings. That's coordinated effort to draw their attention away from the actual hit. Get a 4-on-2 post plant.
Flit's been so annoying out from mid. He's constantly been lurking and cutting off rotations, even so aggressive in through. Market is going to be dealt with from Gruss, but now they've got XE in the backstab. This should be an 8th round up for the FORZE camp to go into that second half. So taking a very minimal lead, but a lead nevertheless. And FORZE up. I don't want to say that was probably as convincing as they would have liked. Considering the fact they were up, what, 7-4, they probably should have been able to get maybe 9. Stretching to 10 would have maybe been a little bit too far, but they get away with the lead. And APEKS being able to hold a great contention so far in this third map of the series.
And a much closer half as well. Much better contention from both sides in this third map of the series. Yeah. This by comparison, again, we were looking at like 11-4, 9-6 halves in the last few maps. Those 16-7 results, and well, in theory, we could still see a 16-7 coming out from FORZE, but the likelihood is much, much lower this time. So a great opportunity ahead of them here for the APEKS and FORZE camps. Probably going to be seeing a CT pistol that you know, FORZE could, in theory, kind of defend against. You know, they have a decent sort of operation here on the pistol rounds. So I'll be curious to see whether APEKS can counteract it. They did so over on the last map. And of course, a very important round for either side to win, especially APEKS, who want to take that lead back.
Thoughts, Jay, on in terms of a percentage of seeing another 16-7? Now, it's only possible for FORZE to win 16-7, obviously. What are your thoughts on that? Like, are we seeing like a really low percentage? Just like a ballpark figure. It's low.
It's
like
pretty low.
A point something percentage.
Not that low.
Not that low. So we'll give it what? 2%?
I'd say probably about 2-3%. Because the thing is that if APEKS wins in one round, even if it's an eco, then 16-7 is off the table. So it's low, but I could see it happening. If FORZE can get the confidence CT side, and I can see it being a possibility here. But APEKS are going to try and deny that here with the sheer aggression from the T side pistol. Dennis straight up takes out Flit. Exy and Jerry have been tagged very low as well. Almaza got a swing and a hit, and he gets it on Dennis as well. 4 on 4. But it's back challenge to connect to 3 players swing against him. Marcelius will be found for the trade. Exy keeping control. Jerry held back towards Sandwich, and now Almaza is left alone in the back line. The high HP player. Exy going to provide support by taking out some players in the back line. Truth goes falling. Gross doing some damage. They know that he's close. He sneaks right in front of them. Sees Akez. Can't quite take the bomb planter though. And Gross takes him down. So now it's all up to a tagged up Jerry and even more tagged up Exy to get this retake together. Jerry falls. They catch off one, but Exy can't double up. And there you go. The 16-7 chances are now at 0%. 8-all APEKS get the pistol round.
That was a very wacky pistol round from the APEKS side. It seemed like they were getting in through mid. They had a player up towards top connector, but then it was to split into B. And, you know, there was a lot of movement in the pistol round. There was a lot of map control being taken by the T side. And, well, the odds over at our good friends of LootBet still favor the FORZE camp. A 1.4 for them, a 2.7 to 3 odd for APEKS. If you do want to get involved, you can check out their information in the Twitch banners underneath the Twitch channel. 10 free CSGO spins and up to €100 bonus on your deposit. A lot of added extras. And added extras, Jay, we keep seeing this PP Bison coming out.
I don't understand why APEKS work with this. Like, it's a weapon that, by all accounts, should never do anything in the context of an eco round.
Here comes the ace.
I mean, here's the thing, right? If FORZE are forced to buy, it makes a bit more sense because, like, you know, armor penetration is improved on a weapon. But, like, you know, it's just not a weapon that seems to be very, you know, viable outside of those ecos and force buy rounds. And I mean, FORZE are still going eco anyway, so so it's just going to be essentially like a standard SMG. Essentially, there's no major advantage you get from this. I mean, it's been working for APEKS. They've been able to get a decent number of kills in the very few times they've had it. Still, though, it's a buy that always confuses me every time I see it.
You've got 64 bullets, though, Jay. Coincidence with 64 tick servers?
Listen, right? we don't do matchmaking here at Malta Vibes. The pistol's out, getting absolutely wrecked here. The kill code's been for Dennis at the very least, so there's that much. But this is probably going to be a simple sort of stance to take. One player left in Almaza. Bomb plant towards B. And there's not much else that the CTs can do about this. The hunt will come through from APEKS.
So far, so good. Only losing a single player. Again, it wasn't quite a force buy. It was pretty much a complete eco. So FORZE will be able to get the rifles out going into the next round. Almaze is not really looking for any kind of exit kills. He's actually very, very passive in Sandwich. And closest member is Grust, looking for maybe his 3K with the AK. Depends if he reads this position. Kind of surprised that Almazer isn't a little bit more aggressive to see if he can take anyone down. Here we go. Not gonna happen. Easy cleanup for APEKS.
Yeah. Lead game with the T side as well, of course. Very few casualties sustained, therefore the money continues to build for the T side, but more tacticals are coming in from the Norwegian core. I'm curious at this. They tend to just come out just en masse a lot of the time here. Not spreading them out between different you know, sequences. We're just going straight up like that. Just use all our pauses right now in these few rounds and just, you know, go from it from there. But I mean, for me, it feels like a bit of like, you know, like, an early call, you know. Maybe use that after the rifle. Maybe use it a little bit later on when you're down by like maybe like, you know, 10-9 or 10-8, you know.
Yeah, maybe they're just trying to have a bit of a sort of a chat to sort of say, right, we've got a lead here. We need to be able to make sure we're working with it. Now, it's a glass cannon coming out for Exy with that AWP. So I'll be surprised if he's playing aggressive. I would think that he would be playing a little bit more passive considering the aim punch potential. But for APEKS, they're being at least one round away from being able to get to that double-digit scoreline. And Jerry aggressive out from mid. We haven't really seen a lot of mid control from the CT side in both teams on Mirage so far. A lot of set pieces, and that looks like what's going on into round 18 for APEKS. Well,
if it's working, why not? Go for it. Two smokes down, connector, jungle, and stairs. Nothing for CT just yet. They might come through after the plant. Facecracker's ready with his M4 to try and shut them down for the moment, though. Facecrack seen, takes out Gross. Got players so close towards him, doubling up, coming through from the player of Firebox. Bomb gets dropped by Jerry, doubling of his own right. 2 kills galore for the 2 CTs on site, and Dennis is left alone. APEKS, well, it was working up till this round, but it's been decimated here by the CT side.
And that looked very, very comfortable. That looked almost too easy from the FORZE camp, dealing with that set piece to the A-bomb site instantly. And Facecrack and Jerry just working together, taking a bit of damage between them, but no one going down. Flit takes the last kill. How many AKs can they pick up? 2. Okay, they only get away with 2, so it's not the massive amount, but to be fair, that's a fantastic round from FORZE. And after APEKS have just taken a tactical pause, you've got to think that hurts them a lot mentally, Jay, that they've actually thought about something going into that round right there, and then just none of it working.
The Eagle set. Up on Exy. Ready for Dennis. Good shot. Incendiary back. Nades up, doing some damage again with Dinks coming through. Marcelius does find a trade on Flit, so AK for them to work with here in this round, APEKS. Opening up the ladder room scaffolding and hoping that someone peeks in from jungle, but nobody will. It's still short control and market control. Almaza lines up 2 frags on the bomb planter, and it's back up. And all that's left is Grass now with the AK. Still to do some damage. We can get 2 kills, that'd be great. But no, Almaza shuts him down.
Nice and easy. FORZE now a couple rounds in a row where they've been able to sort of regain their control. Don't lose too much out of that last round too, only losing a single player, so economy starting to get built up a bit, not a massive amount. But you've got to think for FORZE, you know, this is the opportunity, especially with how low the money is in the reserve. If you don't allow a bomb plant to go down for the APEKS side, you win out the round, you start to bolster your economy while also wrecking APEKS's one. AWP out from mid, flashbang. I tell you what, Marcelios has been able to get so many kills, Jay, whether it's been him flashed or just straight through smoke. His timing has been exceptional today with his AWP.
And it's working well for APEKS as well in these defaults, getting FORZE to lose early frags. Take out some of the major firepower players as well. Facecrack in particular, always been a consistent element here for this camp. The smoke's down further, coming through on the Sniper's Nest. Flit's just going to be driven further away from his contact position. Really wants to find some sort of face up here, but nothing will go his way. It'll be left all to Almaza, who's pushed up in the apartments. No one else is defending B from shore, though. He will get Truth, start to fall back, but he's going to need some serious backup here. Marcelius takes him down with the orb shot. Oh! And doubles up on Flit as well. Perfectly holding back towards a short angle.
This has got to be a save. There's no way the retake's coming through. That second shot, or the third shot, I should say, from Marcelius, has been fantastic. And Jay, he's only taken 3 shots, and all of them have connected. A great boost up into the short boxes, looking for a little bit more. Finally, it's going to be a miss. But that gives the information away to APEKS to go, right, yep, they're saving, they're not going for it, they're not going for the retake. And a tied scoreline up once again. And we've had quite a few moments, Jay, in this last map at least, where we've had tied scorelines like 3, 4, maybe even 5 times. It's been a common occurrence.
Definitely not a common occurrence in the previous few maps, so a nice opportunity to see this coming out of Mirage. Especially this late in the game where it was basically just like, you know, a complete absolute rarity in the late game. Fire coming in from both sides, of course. 10-all. Warps in for Exy and Marcelius. AKs, M4s. Standard setups here for the rifles. Smokes into the mid position. Players out towards ramp. Molotovs down from the CT camp. Flash to get Flit into control gap. But that smoke, no, there's not. Makes his way in towards it, though. We're going to try and challenge the short players. Oh, sorry, the mid players, I should say. Meanwhile, set piece again set up from APEKS.
FORZE need to be making sure, though, as soon as this utility comes out for the T's, that they are rotating quickly to A. Jerry's got to hold off a massive amount of utility and a massive amount of players to this T side. So much utility has already come through. No Molotov to under balcony just yet.
Cherry M4, Dennis to spray through, takes that one frag, getting the hell out of dodge. Exi comes up with a second kill on Truth. APEKS will find a trade. FaceCrack turns around, 4-on-2 situation, making it 1 now, as FaceCrack continues to pick them apart. AWP, last thing standing, and Exi gets involved. And every time we see a response from the team in the back foot, whether that be to catch up or equalize to the team in the lead, there is always such a confident fight back from the opposition side.
I felt that there was too much utility there, and people might be questioning, like, how can there be too much utility being used? When you use too much utility at that A bomb site, what it means is that you don't have players already running out. We didn't see a Molotov until quite late after the players had already cleared out Tetris of that under balcony position from Jerry, but there was no one that pressed very aggressively around those smokes, and it punished them for it because there were so many people pressing utility rather than having players just running out from ramp as soon as the smokes go over. APEKS not really upgrading much going into round 22. FORZE, this is the perfect opportunity, especially with how they've been able to build up their bank, Jay, to really start to get to some control and start to run away with this map. For APEKS, it's going to be really difficult to chime back.
Lit on short, got Truth, got Marcelius. Exi steals one of those kills away, but either way, it's a mop-up from the APEKS side. Deagle from Dennis does catch off 1 kill, but he's the lone man standing in a 1-on-4. Indeed, FaceCrack takes him down. They recover upgrade pistols. AK stays for FaceCrack. And the buy comes in from APEKS, 12-10 on the CT board. Again, FORZE just don't want to let APEKS get so far in the lead. There'll be some opportunities presenting themselves, but it's rifle v rifle round, and there's money saved to the CT side.
And there needs to be a bit of a change-up for the APEKS side. Maybe trying to lean over towards B, something they haven't done a massive amount for both teams, actually. Hasn't really been too much presence over to that B side. FORZE opting against any kind of mid-control. 3 players stacked up at the A bomb site and 2 at B. And that allows APEKS to take this mid-control pretty much for free, trying to hold on to as much utility as possible. Now, Flint is quite aggressive around this short position. At least trying to see if he can hear for some footsteps, see if he can get a bit of a lucky timing. APEKS, though, you'd have to expect that this is going to be a split into the A bomb site from mid.
Ross. Smoke covering him into the jungle position, past the edge of the ladder room. Flit Molotov in, is going to force him away. He still takes a fight on Gross and wins it out. APEKS and Dennis working in to connect next. And True starting to make his way around, rapping against FaceCrack is going to be seen. Has no idea those players are coming up so close. Jerry responds in 1. Dennis on 9 HP. Truth will go down next. Marcelius, all that remains as Jerry gets his triple in. Can't quite make it a quadra. Marcelius gets that frag. Smoke down. Armiza takes the frag back. Good chances there for APEKS, brought up, but they couldn't capitalize with follow-up kills. And now FORZE are looking to run away with this one.
And for APEKS, yeah, they've been able to put up 10 rounds, Jay, but when you actually think of, like, the addition of those rounds and how they actually came apart, APEKS won pistol, went 4-0 up. They go into the second half, they win pistol, they go 2-0 up. So we've really seen an early contention of 6 rounds being won from APEKS. What about those other 4? They have just been chipped in every now and then, have not been consistent by any means. FORZE looking to really start to extend this lead. They've got the potential of going up 14-10, Jay.
Incendiaries down, nades up. That's going to do a lot of damage, and indeed it does. Gross already falls to X's AWP, blind through smoke. FaceCrack gets to APEKS, turns around towards him, gets that trade, but Xe and Jerry quick to trade it all in return. Only 1 casualty, and again, this confident stance from FORZE, the confident build-up of the economy base is going to see so much money. They can buy for the next 2 rounds. They could buy probably up to 14-13, assuming worst-case scenario.
Yeah, look. It is a big difference, isn't it, in the economy between the 2 sides when you've got 2 players on FORZE that are 10k plus, and then you've just got like hardly any reserve for APEKS, and it just comes off the back that FORZE have just been able to win out so many consecutive rounds with so many players staying alive. Even FaceCrack is playing a very uncommon angle. He's actually trying to work on the edge of this smoke.
more got to work with. AWP eventually a bit more of an open chance, but FaceCrack comes up with 2 swings in to get Marcelius down and keep the 3-on-2 advantage. 2 kills coming in for the CT Rifler, but the finishing touch is put on there by the AWP. Almaza, back corner, suspects APEKS to be there. Tap to the head. That's easy. It's offered up by the lone T-side member, so it's all left to Gross and a 1-on-3 now. Bomb plant can't be secured here towards short. Got to find his way in towards A, which is the least defended site. Got to run past the AWP, though, and Exy knows that he's here somewhere. Ready to face. Tap does force him off angle. Nade should do some damage as well. Won't take him down. And a minute left for the Norwegian. Looks up towards Palace, knows there's a player there as well. He's got a number of great reads on the CT defensive.
He's open.
Actually going to sneak his way into B. Okay, he's like outmaneuvered FORZE by quite the amount here. Can he clutch this?
Well, the thing is if he took that duel onto Exy, he gives away his element of surprise. So it actually works out decently that he didn't take that fight onto Exy Power, even though it's still a 1-on-3. He can get this bomb plant to come through. The first player he needs to deal with is the short player of Almaza. Oh, and he's been seen trying to go for the bomb plant. So 15 rounds going to come through for FORZE. They really needed that bomb plant, Jay. That extra $800 would have really helped going into round 26.
Yeah, the buy is going to look real rough here from the T's. 4,200 at best for APEKS. 3,700 average, 3,400 float. It's just not there, is it? You know, it's not a buy that APEKS could realistically sort of expect that they can win off the back of. And it sucks so much as well because Gruss he just somehow threaded the needle past every single player of that FORZE camp. So he had a direct access to the B site. He would have been able to get a bomb plant, go passive, try and take a 1v3 fight, which you know, I see a world in which that would have worked out for him because he was on 100 HP. They had no info on his position or the bomb plant. How amazing that would have been for him to clutch that together for APEKS. But as it stands, it's rifles out in full, 2 Galils for APEKS and Truth. Utility for those 2 players plus Marcelius, but nothing for Gross or Dennis. And FORZE are so ready for this mid-face. Jerry, M4 out, takes spray, lines 2, takes 1, but Dennis on 7 HP, he's dead to rights.
Oh, now Flit's trying to come into the action. Both him and FaceCrack shutting this round down. It's all down to Truth and Marcelios in a 2-on-4 to bring it back. Oh, Truth's been able to sneak out, but yeah, look, this is pretty much done now. And Truth was trying to make a bit of a sneaky play to that A bomb site, but it gets completely caught off. Marcelios now 1-on-4. And yeah, Jay, I think it is going to be a GG here. This would be such an astronomical clutch to come out from Marcelios.
It's too much. I mean, if you had an AK, you could see him potentially pick apart a few players, but like realistically, you're looking at 2 frags here. Crossfire set. Exy so ready for this. AWP locks onto the head. 16-10 FORZE. Easy as that there for the last map of the series. But it was a little bit close.